In Stone Town, someone bet 5 nickels that he wasn't there. It's been 13 days. 5 coins is quite a lot, half of a guard's monthly salary. Someone said this guy's gotten dumber lately. Maybe he's still there. But it's been 13 days. He's probably gone by now. Still, the previous record was 10 days. He's betting he's not there. He's wasting his time trying martial arts. He was struck by lightning when he was 6. That's really pathetic. He's completely invisible in the family, so it's no wonder he's always running into the woods and staring at the stone slab. Another man came in and said they should stop gossiping. It was the vice captain. The deputy said that although he is not favored by the family and is behaving quite strangely, he is still the young master of the family and their master. They need to watch their language. The deputy may have said those words, but he was betting that guy was still out there. Even the deputy captain made a bet. In this world where martial arts are revered and thriving, it is easy to imagine the consequences of someone who is unable to develop them. Even though Du Xiaofu comes from a noble family, everyone mocks him, and someone from the family even stole his supply of medicinal pills. The guy was a useless young master who cannot practice martial arts. He belongs to one of the 5 influential families of Stone City. 10 years ago, when he was struck by lightning, he accidentally stumbled upon this stone slab that hides powerful techniques. Unfortunately, he still can't figure them out. The moment the lightning struck him, a mysterious rune appeared and imprinted in his mind, linking him to the stone slab. The cracks in the stone resemble veins in the human body. He knows it has something to do with restoring the battle pulse. And so, at last, the stone slab began to crumble, and now it was completely destroyed. After 10 years, he finally mastered the first technique. Still, he wondered why the slab had cracked. There must be something else out there besides this technique. There was nothing in one place. Same here. Du Xiaofu didn't know where they might be. It's worth forgetting about. Looks like there's no second technique here. And now he needs to get rid of the title of trash. The Du family is recruiting 20 new guards. They must be older than 16 and strong enough. If any of them can withstand 3 blows from the young masters, they can join the guards. And if someone manages to defeat one of them, they can become the commander. The Du family pays 10 coins a month to their guards, and their head gets 50, which is much more than other families. This is a great opportunity for them. However, although their young masters are still young, they are quite strong and powerful. Not everyone will be able to withstand their 3 strikes. Du Yu and Du Lei were there. They were both 14 years old. If they want to become the guards of the Du family, they need to stand up to them. The young masters of this family are indeed strong. Although they are still only in the heaven realm for now, they're much stronger than normal people. Du Yu and Du Lei were born with the 5th level of martial pulse. They are already at the 6th level of the heaven realm and will reach the universe realm by the age of 17 to 18. There is hardly anyone equal to them. There are so many flaws in the Du family's techniques. Or maybe it's just his imagination. No, he understands and even sees through all their skills. It must be because of the mysterious technique he has learned. A man came out who wanted to ask a question. Was it true that he could become the commander of the guards after defeating one of the young masters? This person is familiar with the basics of martial arts, but his martial pulse is weak, and he is at the 2nd layer of the heaven realm. There was no way he could defeat the young masters unless a miracle happened. It's good to have ambition, but this post is not easy to win. The man asked if he wanted to recant. Because he won't recant, the deputy asked who he preferred to fight, Master Lei or Master Yu. The man pointed at the protagonist. He wants to fight Du Xiaofu specifically. Someone asked what the pathetic young master was doing here. The Du family can't win this time. After all, he was also one of the Du family's young masters. The deputy replied that he was indeed young Master Du Xiaofu. This loser still dared to come here and disgrace their family. Today, it is the young master of the Du family that the man will fight. If he defeats him, he will become the commander of the guards. Du Xiaofu asked. He was pretty sure he wanted to summon him. The man replied that yes, he did. But if he didn't dare to fight, the Du family could just hire him as a guard commander right now. If he insists, it will be so. Others marveled that this loser could jump so high. He was really able to develop spiritual energy to such an extent. Guy lands a nice shot. Du Xiaofu asked. He was definitely sure he wanted to fight him. The man couldn't believe his eyes. He was just a pathetic piece of trash. Du Xiaofu asked, wondering what he was waiting for. It's just not possible. This guy's just trash. Du Xiaofu took advantage of the rift. It doesn't look like he's moving at all, but the bearded man is lying down. Is it really that useless young master who can't use martial arts? That mysterious technique had restored his battle pulse to level 2. but his spiritual energy clearly surpassed that level. He told them to keep going and he would leave. Is it still that pathetic young master? Inside Du's estate, thanks to his father being the third eldest of the family, even someone as useless as Du Xiaofu was could live in the main courtyard. Du Xiaofu said that he could now master martial arts. Dad said that if the guy was hungry, he could look for something in the kitchen. He smelled like booze. Du Xiaofu asked if he had been drinking again. His father replied that if he could practice martial arts now, he should go to the secret martial pavilion and look for new techniques. He just shouldn't be disturbed while he was drinking or sleeping. There's nothing left. He needs to buy more booze. According to his uncle, his father had once been an excellent and famous martial artist. But in his memory, he'd always been like that. Perhaps it had something to do with his mother, whom he had never met. To encourage my dad, he needs to practice more and succeed as soon as possible. And for starters, instead of searching for something new in the secret pavilion, he would rather continue to learn his secret first technique. This technique can not only restore one's combat pulse, but also develop spiritual energy. Although this is his only technique, it is quite powerful and can be used in various situations. Judging from his current strength, he would be able to handle even Heaven Realm Masters at the 8th or 9th word. This mysterious technique is so strong even though his level isn't high yet. And if he manages to ascend to a new realm, it will become irresistible. He doesn't know what his next technique will be, so he can only practice this one to ascend to a new realm. The animal's body was covered in golden lightning. Little Du Xiaofan shouted to that Thunder Lion demon. When the demon lion summoned lightning, it struck the other beasts around him. And also a little boy. There was someone standing in front of his eyes. It was some mysterious craftsman with something in his hands. He's awake. He dreamt of his childhood again. During these 10 years, he woke up several times a month in the stone coffin in the Du family's ancestral hall. He had been scared the first time it happened, but now he was used to it. Du Xiaofu wondered who was secretly carrying him here. This stone coffin is able to purify the bones and nerves, increasing his spiritual power. He slept for a day and a night, so he needs to hurry up and find a new technique in the secret battle pavilion. The secret martial pavilion is where the Du family keeps their collected martial arts techniques and other treasures. This place is closed to the public. Members of the younger generation who want to choose to learn new techniques must first get permission from the head of the family. Fu Yibai, the pavilion guard, was there. Du Xiaofu had come to pick out his new techniques, and the guard was doing something.
He was crushing ants.
True Ibai replied that he was practicing the art of wielding a sword, and offered to join. He could get an amazing skill by killing 10,000 ants. Du Xiaofu refused, and went to look for the energy restoration scripture. But without the head's permission, even Du family members are not allowed to enter this place. According to the order, Ibai has been guarding the pavilion since a long time ago. Du Xiaofu replied that he didn't appreciate his kindness. He said to call him Big Brother like before, otherwise he would walk under himself until his death. Ibai asked for forgiveness from his elder brother. The guard was lying on the floor. As long as Ibai behaves himself, Xiaofu won't make him look bad in front of the others. He wouldn't have argued with him if he had known in advance that he was only playing the fool. Martial arts techniques are divided into 4 categories: heaven, earth, fantasy, and combat. Each category is divided into 3 levels of difficulty: light, medium, and heavy. The energy restoration scripture is at the easy level of the fantasy category. Only people who have received special permission from the head of the family can learn this technique. The categories of martial and techniques correspond to the level of the practitioners. Most of the techniques and skills collected by the secret martial pavilion are for those in the celestial realm and the realm of the universe. Each realm is divided into 4 levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. And for him, only the techniques of the universe level can be useful. Where should he look for energy restoration writing now? But there was someone there. It was an unknown person who headed towards him. This John Doe was very fast. Some patterns appeared on the main character's arm. He wanted to hit his attacker, but the man easily dodged his attack. John Doe was upstairs. Taking one last look at the boy, he walked away. Some things started falling from the closet. The guy caught them. Du Xiaofu hid them. He shouted for Bai to catch the thief, but it was already empty. He was worried that the guy would find the energy restoration scripture and dared to go against him, suddenly attacking him. He's sure it was that bastard Bai. In Xiaofu's hands were a wave strike and a furious wave fist. First, he should find a calm place and study the wave strike. He began to study wave impact, powerful vibrations, a natural martial art. The study of wave impact is divided into 9 levels. Each level doubles the power of the Wave Fist. The first level is already enough to shatter bones. Wave Impact. 1 impact, 9 waves. Each wave is stronger than the previous one and more difficult to achieve. Compared to the Mystery Technique, learning this one is much easier. Wave Impact is quite powerful, but still has flaws and weaknesses. A group of people came over, and the man with purple hair was saying that their fool was really practicing. Ye Ziqing, the daughter of the ruler of Stone City, asked Master Hao that if this person was from the Du family, why she had never seen him before. Du Hao, the eldest grandson of the Du family, replied that it was Du Xiaofu, a common fool, and his father was a useless drunkard. The other guy told him to back off because he might piss off the guest of honor. It was Du Hao who stole his medicinal pills. Now even Du Gui, his servant, dares to be rude to him. Du Gui told him to fuck off and wanted to punch the protagonist. Du Xiaofu stopped his fist and said that he was his older cousin. The Du family respects seniority and separates the older and younger. And if Du Gui doesn't treat him with the respect he deserves, he will teach him a lesson. Du Hao shouted that Xiaofu dared to raise his hand on his man. Xiaofu replied that respecting elders was the rule of the family. All he did was to teach Du Gui this. And since Du Hao is his older cousin, he will teach Xiaofu a lesson today. But it's not for him to teach the protagonist. But the boys were stopped by Ye Ziqing. She's not interested in their personal squabbles. Du Hao replied, so they wouldn't let their mood be ruined because of this fool. In a few days, the Du family would be having a competition. They could fight there and collect a good prize. The first prize is the blood of the Stormrock Wolf. The second and third are foundation pills. The Du family is truly generous. In that case, at the family gathering, Hao will teach Xiaofu a lesson. Xiaofu replied that he wasn't sure he would go there. If he doesn't go, Hao will tell him that he was afraid of fighting him, which will cause Xiaofu to lose face in the Stone City. If he could obtain the blood of a Thundercliff wolf, he would be able to develop the Thundercliff skill. The girl congratulated him in advance. Hao has no doubt that he will get the blood of this wolf. He asked her to come and watch him fight. But Xiaofu doesn't necessarily have to participate in the competition if he wants to get this wolf's blood. Ye Ziqing is the daughter of the ruler of the city, so she has high position and wide connections. But he knows that deep inside she is not like that at all. When he sat beaten as a child and there was a girl behind him, the girl said they stole his pills and she didn't do anything to help. Does he blame her for that? But it's not her fault that he's too weak and got ripped off. When he's stronger, he'll get it all back. He is deprived of the ability to practice martial arts and cultivation. She is the daughter of the town's head, so she will have to marry for the sake of her family. That is their fate. He shouted that in that case, he would change his fate.
He held out his hand to her with a smile.
All she did was cry and call him a fool. When she was younger, she often climbed mountains. At that time, they were friends. She was worried that she would cause him a lot of trouble, so she pretended not to know him. She tries her best, fulfilling her role as the daughter of the ruler of the city. He too needs to train harder and become stronger. The head hero needs to hurry up and learn Furious Wave Fist. The contest is over, and the protagonist still hasn't shown up. Brother Hao, Chong, and Yang took the top 3 ranks in the family competition. This formidable wolf blood is a great tool to strengthen one's foundation. One hopes that Brother Hao will be able to build a strong foundation and become a natural martial arts genius. Du Xiaofu didn't dare to come. It was said that he managed to start cultivation, but he remained a coward. If he dared to show up, he would have nothing to oppose Brother Hao. Even if he hid today, they'll still meet next time. In a few days, the pills will be distributed, and he will find him then. They offered to beat him up today so that he would give the pills to them himself. Then, they wouldn't have to take them away every month. Du Hao thought it was a great idea. The girl asked what the young mistress thought of the strength of the Du family's younger generation. Ziqing thought they were mediocre compared to the 3 supreme families. Just then, Du Xiaofu appeared in front of the bunch of people. It was a robbery, but they were the ones who were going to rob him. That fool was really going to rob the family's 3 strongest young masters. He wanted to show them a fierce wave fist. The ground began to shake beneath their feet due to the impact of the main character. The first 3 are nothing. They humiliated him, but now he will repay them. If he's trash, these guys are worse than trash. If he's stupid, they're even stupider than he is. They will help him spread his name. From this day forward, he was no longer trash. Hao couldn't believe how this was possible. He took the blood of the Stormrock Wolf, foundation pills, and also another box. Hao asked him to return the pills he stole from him or he would rob him every time he saw him. He wasn't kidding. He hid everything he stole and the girls just watched him. Du Xiaofu gave a portion to Wu Ziqing. The girl took that in and was a little unsure what he meant. But it was interesting. That night, the main character came to the secret battle pavilion again. If there is no energy restoration scripture here, there is no way for him to ascend to the new realm. Even with the blood of the wolf of the Thundering Rock, he will not be able to erect a foundation. He shouted where Old Man Bai was making that description. Du Xiaofu told this old man not to make this old man look for him, or he wouldn't see tomorrow. But there was a woman behind him. She asked how he knew Fu Yibai. He started to speak, but then turned back around. The guy introduced himself as his friend. She interjected again, he's his friend. Of course he befriended the kid. Without disturbing any of the guards, she appeared in the secret battle pavilion. This woman must be strong. He asked his little sister if she was Bai's friend. He knows him, so Du Xiaofu offered to go get him. Since this old man is hiding from her, she has no other option. She'll take it. She is definitely strong. He wondered how Old Man Bai could anger such a person, how it pissed him off. She threw him to the ground. He made excuses that he was not really related to Old Man Bai in any way. She had the wrong man, but if he has nothing to do with him, the guy is just useless and she'll kill him first. He took his words back. If he didn't try to escape, he'd stay alive for now, according to the girl. But if Fu Yibai doesn't come to save him, it will be difficult to guarantee his life. Now he can really do development work. A man came into her room. It was Ye Baolin, the head of Stone City. He asked about her trip to the Du family and whether she had gotten anything useful. The Du family's younger generation is nothing special. The other 3 families have more outstanding fighters. But there was something interesting. The Du family's foolish young master is markedly different from what the rumors say. The 3rd son is quite mysterious. When the master left Stone City, he performed well in the outside world. But 16 years ago, he returned with a child. The servants had just reported that someone strong with the ability to fly had taken Du Xiaofu far away to Monster City. He's probably dead by now. The whole family is in a state of confusion. The ability to fly indicates that that person has reached the level of spiritual pulse. The city has been at peace for decades. Perhaps it's time to stir up this stagnant swamp. The Du, An, Bai, and Qin families have a strong rear end. The Ye family can increase their position in Stone City by marrying her off to a member of the strongest family. She replied that she understood. It's dangerous to go to the mountains now. If she doesn't want to get into trouble, she shouldn't go there. She wanted to get out, but the guards were already there. They told her not to complicate things. But after a second, they were already asking not to hit them, and offered to just talk. The girl wondered where he was now. Taking a chance while she slept, he was able to escape. If he is bait for the old man to come save him, he will die in these mountains of old age. Noticing that the guy has escaped, she'll probably go looking for him in the Stone City. So instead, he goes deep into the Monster Mountains. It may be dangerous there, but that's where his chance of survival lies. But there was something wrong. He started coughing up blood. After which, Du Xiaofu simply fell down. A woman appeared behind him and asked him if he was too tired after running all night. She told him not to move, for she would help calm his pulse. She used her technique. He's pretty smart. He realized he shouldn't run back and headed the other way. But still, he's too brazen. Not many can escape her gaze. It's still good for the girl, so wanted to try it to see if it would work or not. She asked what he was going to do now. He wanted to do development. He doesn't really understand the situation. She'll check out what's ahead. But if he runs into a beast, he's asking for it. The only way to escape or survive the mountain of monsters is to get stronger. Wave Strike and Furious Wave Fist are good. Perhaps he can improve on those techniques. The strength of the Wave Strike changed from Qixie to Yun Men, then to Kongkui, and finally to Xiaofu. If its power overcomes the Tai Yuan and Shaoshan stages, it can reach its full potential and power. And if it gets rid of some flaws and unnecessary parts, the Wave Strike can become stronger and more flexible. There was a snake in the tree watching him. She decided to attack him, but the guy noticed it. It's a white thunder snake. He used his Wave Strike on that snake. His punch was a good one, but the snake managed to dodge. The white thunder snake is not poisonous, but it is incredibly fast. And when it bites someone, it overwhelms the person's inner strength and stuns them, reducing their ability to fight. If he gets bitten, he's finished. He increased the distance between him and the snake. His wave impact doesn't have enough power. The snake was moving right at him again. She really was too fast for the guy. Fortunately, he was able to dodge her attack. He remembered that with each level of technique, the strength increases with each level of technique. But if you compress those levels, the strength would increase much more. Du Xiaofu was able to leverage a 13-fold wave strike. The snake was thrown back against a tree. He could only use a 9-fold strike, But thanks to the compression, he was able to achieve a 13-fold strike, more than doubling his strength. There were many demonic beasts dwelling in the monster mountains. For several hours, the protagonist met them one by one. He came across a scarlet-flamed hare, and even a crystal wolf, as well as the battleship on which he used a furious wave fist. This battleship was indeed mighty. He had almost reached the realm of the universe, but the monsters rushed toward him again. It was those same snakes again. Dealing with one white thunder snake was tedious, and now there were as many as 5. He used the wave strike again, but arrows flew from somewhere. These arrows killed the snakes. It was the blonde girl the protagonist had his eye on. She landed on the ground. The girl shouted that with such pathetic strength, he dared to venture into the mountains of beasts. The boy replied that he was not here of his own free will. She noticed something. The girl looked like she wanted to attack him. She even drew her weapon. The guy was getting worried, but she just ran right past him. She killed the beasts that were behind him. If he doesn't want to die, he'd better get out of here now. This is not the kind of place a man like him can enter. But she just ran away. This girl was really fast. She managed to steal his trophies. The skin, horns, meat, and bones of demonic beasts are treasures worth a lot of money. No sooner has he rested than someone wants to attack him again. He will fight any beast that gets in his way. The fearsome wolves came running out. These monsters were of the natural realm level. There were a lot of them, and the guy couldn't beat them. So he started to run away from them. He called out to his little sister and told her that if she didn't help him, he was finished. Underdeveloped, he was able to learn and improve combat techniques. She had never thought that a small backwater town could have such talent. To her, these beasts were not a huge problem. All that was left of the beasts were pieces of meat. His reactions are not bad, and he has the ability to understand and improve combat techniques. That's quite satisfactory. But alone, he would have died several times already. She noticed a stream of beasts approaching. They need to get away. The girl took hold of his cloak and flew. And she was right. It was indeed a flood of beasts. They built a fire and cooked their food. The girl asked if it was his old man who taught him how to roast meat. He replied that Old Man Bai's cooking skills were much better than the Du family's. He offered her more to eat, but she had no appetite after cultivating. The meat he fried reminded her of something that had happened years ago. He told his little sister that everything has an end. He's not that close to Bai, so there's no use in kidnapping him. It's the old man's fault for hiding from her. A girl so strong she could easily catch Bai. With the old man's strength and skills, he wouldn't be able to get into those mountains. But the guy still didn't understand something. She told him to share his thoughts. When a stream of animals moved by, he looked down on it. And he noticed also many people. Some of them fled to save their lives, but some moved into the mountains as they did, not caring for their own safety. And yet this stream was unusual. Could it be that there is some treasure hidden in these mountains? He was thinking right. In these mountains lives the self-proclaimed king of the beasts, and this is his moment of greatest weakness. The stronger the demonic beast, the higher its value as a trophy. Not to mention the fact that it's currently weakened. It's a heaven-sent opportunity. Right now, strong fighters are gathering here and fighting each other. Those who are strong enough to go deep into the mountains have a lot of support. And whoever ends up getting the opportunity, that person will have a noticeable impact on these lands. The guy asked if Sis was here for that too, but she's not interested. She's here for the old man, but if he wants to, she doesn't mind him watching the fun. That little sister was so kind. He promised her to catch Old Man Bai when they got back. She wouldn't mind eating rabbit meat, so she told him to roast some more. There must be a lot of corpses of different animals here after the stream had passed. In the group of people, it appeared that someone had just passed through here and headed deeper into the mountains. The young boy asked if they were strong. The girl said she was scared. The old man suggested that they should hurry, for they must not let others gain an advantage. This is an opportunity granted to them, Xuanfu, by the heavens themselves. Another man noticed that these demonic beasts were acting abnormally lately. Something has happened to this self-proclaimed king. Ordinary hunters won't show up here, but other strong sects besides their Xuanming will surely arrive soon. It's this sect that should get that treasure, and he will kill anyone who gets in his way. Another person had told the teacher that the fast snake technique was powerful. Joining the Tianshu sect was the right decision, otherwise he wouldn't have gotten such a chance. But the student's skills aren't fully honed yet. But even a beast king can't stand up to a teacher. They should not allow other sects to steal this opportunity from them. There is a king living in the mountains. If he could use his blood to erect his foundation, it would be 100 times better than using the blood of the Thundercliff wolf. The man asked who the kid was. They are deep in the mountains of demonic beasts. For a child with a lack of spiritual development like him, it's better to hide away. He looks suspicious. We need to capture and interrogate him. Suanming Tisong, Suanfumeng, Tianshi. And they say they're above the empire. Even lords are forced to personally greet guards from these sects when they meet. 3 great sects had simultaneously appeared in the depths of the Beast Mountains. They must be hunting the Beast King. It would be difficult for him to escape from them, but the fact that they were from different sects might help. Du Xiaofu said he came here looking for barbecue ingredients. They let them talk, but he has to go. Tianshi replied that everyone here came for the sake of the Beast King. So why are they trying to act separately? This boy hasn't reached the first realm yet, and Oni himself wouldn't have gotten this far. His master is somewhere nearby. The old man told Liu Kun that it was his turn. If they are from the Great Sec, so why are they so unreasonable? Power gives them power. Liu Kun used his technique to attack him. In response, the protagonist used the palm of a furious wave, but his spiritual energy is being destroyed. Guy was able to block the attacker's attack, but it was pushed back a little bit. Liu Kun was definitely strong. Liu Kun shouted at the guy that he was no match for him and suggested that he surrender. The old man remarked that this child was unusual. His spiritual energy is circulating even though he has not yet reached the first realm. His techniques belong to natural martial arts. But how, without reaching the realm, he was able to develop spiritual energy and utilize them? The guy said it's because of his hard work.
He used the palm of a fierce wave.
There was an explosion. With this, he wanted to escape. But Liu Kun couldn't let him do that. The masters wanted to see whose apprentice he was. He felt as if needles were sticking into his back. It's the pressure of the auras of strong masters. He ran to his little sister and told her they wanted to take away her barbecue. Liu Kun shouted for him to go to hell. His technique bumped into his sister's shield. She clearly wasn't thrilled with what this guy had done. She dispelled her shield. Liu Kun recoiled. Liu Kun thought about who this woman was, and he felt like he had made another strong enemy. The rest of us watched it. Du Xiaofu recognized that this sis was strong and tough. She asked where the barbecue meat was. He can't handle such an easy task. He's a useless piece of garbage. She pulled out her flute. Sis told him to go fight again. Liu Kun asked if she meant that he could overpower him if he tried again. She played a tune. Suddenly, he felt a kind of rush of strength. Liu Kun clearly didn't like it. The melody of this flute has a mysterious power that makes spiritual energy flow faster. He wanted to use the palm of the fierce wave. Spiritual energy is centered between the heavenly gate and the heavenly lake. They noticed that his battle pulse level had increased. That's impossible. His battle pulse and spiritual energy are almost at the level of the natural realm, even though he hasn't reached the first realm yet. The old man shouted to his disciple to attack and not give him time to gain strength. His spiritual energy is like a flood, and each wave is bigger than the last. If it breaks the dam, it will spill over 1,000 miles and will be unstoppable. It really was impressive. Liu Kun thought that he was just bluffing. But still, the guy used the palm of a fierce wave. Liu Kun was thrown far back. The rest of us were amazed at this. Liu Kun didn't understand how this was possible. Sis told him to remember what he had just felt. They all have business to take care of. The old man asked what she meant, but suddenly they heard something. It was the roar of the king of beasts. Looks like another beast is chasing him.
They were 2 beautiful birds.
The king's presence is overwhelmed by a giant golden bird. The mountains of monsters will descend into chaos. The war is on, so what are they waiting for? A lot of people showed up. In these mountains, the strength of the Tianshu sect is superior. Using white leopard hunters is Tianshu's backup plan. They were surrounded. White leopard hunters showed up. Tianshu sect is so calculating that they only sent 2 people here to make it seem not too dangerous. But they actually teamed up with the white leopard hunters hiding in these mountains. Even if their strength isn't comparable to other sect leaders, they far outnumber them. The ants can bite an elephant to death, and they are not easy to deal with. The third master, Leopard Head, is the initial stage of the natural realm. His main technique is gravity cutting. Second master, Fat Dragon, middle stage of the natural realm. The basic technique is the Tiangan Foot. The first master, the Skinny Tiger, the highest stage of the natural realm. The basic technique is the thunderous roar of the Heavenly Tiger. They are infamous in the Stone City, their names frightening to children. Tianshi teamed up with these unscrupulous scum. The man said they were going to team up with these kids and asked what they would say to that. Du Xiaofu turned to his sister. None of this had anything to do with them. She'd be doing him another favor. The golden bird was still pursuing the Beast King. The king of beasts attacked the golden bird. Flames began to fall in various places. That was hot. The other beasts were hiding from this attack. The golden bird began to call out something. A bright golden beam appeared. The Beast King attacked the golden bird again.
And the golden bird attacked him back.
The golden bird's attack stunned the King of Beasts, and the Beast King's attack struck the golden bird. They began to fall. They decided to fight each other to the death. The birds dropped dead somewhere near the tree. They decided to save them the trouble. Looks like the battle will only be between the old lady and Sis. But the old lady doesn't know her name yet. Du Xiaofu shouted that she was the one who stole his trophies. The girl started to get angry. Sis just happened to come here and see the mess. Her name doesn't matter. In that case, the old woman suggested that they keep the secret bone for her and share the blood and the other bones equally. But there's no need to complicate things. She's meant to have it, so she'll take it all. The old woman asked how dare she behave so brazenly. Sis shrouded him in a water balloon for protection and told him not to go near the demonic beasts, for they were some strange beasts. He asked to be released. The old woman noticed that the little sister was hurt. It seemed her luck had changed, but she still has the strength for this old woman. The girl jumped down. Du Xiaofu shouted for her to stay away from them. These two beasts are still dangerous, but the girl wasn't listening. He was able to get through the defense, but arrows were already flying in his direction. She was telling him not to come any closer. The guy wasn't going to fight her. There was something wrong with these demonic beasts. Suddenly, the golden bird woke up. She was about to attack the boys. The guy saved the girl. They hit the wall. Du Xiaofu asked, "Now does she believe him?" A slight blush appeared on the girl's cheeks. The King of Beasts also woke up. They clashed again in a scramble. The girl said their secret bones are about to self-destruct. They need to run. The masters noticed it too. There was a massive explosion. The girl fell. Her face clearly said that she didn't want to die. The guy came back to help her. The old woman quickly took the girl away. But he can't take the blast anymore. Sis headed straight for him. But he could no longer stay on his feet. They didn't think these beasts would prove to be so determined. Their blood and secret bones could give the power to rule the world. The girl asked if this guy was dead. The self-destruction was very powerful. It goes without saying that he died. His teacher couldn't save him. It was raining. The teacher was walking in some direction. She called the guy a fool. A smaller version of the King of Beasts called the boy a stinker, for he had locked him in here. The golden bird chuckled at him and asked how he had turned into such a thing. But that jerk bird didn't seem to know what he looked like. He too was a smaller version of the golden bird. The golden bird screamed where his body had gone and what had been done to him. Where are his luxurious golden feathers? The Beast King denied that his feathers were just pathetic special effects. Are his stupid purple feathers any better? Whose feathers he called stupid purple feathers. The guy was finally starting to wake up little by little. His eyes opened. They noticed the kids about to wake up. Before they tear him to shreds, he has to let them out of here. The guy didn't realize who was saying it. He also didn't realize where he was. The golden bird called him a noisy child and replied that they were in his body. If he let them out, they would keep him alive. Du Xiaofu couldn't believe that his body contained two birds. They are celestial beasts that have existed since the beginning of time. How dare he call them birds? The golden bird asked the purple one if he heard what this guy had just said. The Beast King said that their consciousnesses have been living inside this baby since they lost their bodies. If he let them go, they would reward him handsomely. So they can't leave his body. The heavenly beasts confirmed it. But he can't move, let alone let go of them. He can't even lift a finger. That's because all his bones are broken. If it wasn't for him and Purple, the guy would be dead long ago. He asked if they could help him recover. It was something they could do. He said he would let someone go who would help him recover to his best condition. It was a new struggle for them. The golden bird had already fused the guy's broken bones together. He was now a man with the body of a giant golden phoenix. But can the human body withstand the blood of a phoenix? The King of Beasts spoke to him. They did the best they could. He'll have to rely on himself for the rest. The heavenly realm is overcome in one fell swoop. He entered the natural realm. His clothes were burned, but the little tower and bone from the pavilion survived. He saw something going on in the distance. The others said that Zhu Xue would not escape. They said to give them the treasure, and then maybe they would let her go. They will take good care of her. She clearly didn't believe them. They moved toward the girl, but it was the main character who came to her rescue. He stood before them completely naked. Liu Kun remembered this guy and offered to finish him off. But the other guy was past his prime. He doesn't seem to be that strong. The girl saw him completely naked as he turned toward her. She screamed and called him a pervert. The girl had only women's clothes. He had no choice. She launched her machinery into the sky. A bird appeared in the sky. This bird grabbed the fish, after which this fish was cooked. Zhu Xue asked if this food was good enough for him. The boy replied that it was. He's already eaten too many fish. Du Xiaofu wondered why there was no way he could get full. The golden bird replied that it was natural. He has the body of a giant golden phoenix. The most important thing for the development of such a body is energy. All the food eaten by it is converted into energy, Magenta asked, wondering if he was reading himself as his teacher. That boy had them fooled. He didn't know which ones to release. Now he seems to have had enough. He asked what technique she used. It looked impressive. It was a spell. Someone was watching them. He realized someone was here. This beast already wanted to run away somewhere. The guy took the bone and threw it at the creature. If it's just a cat. Magenta called the guy a dumbass because he's a demonic tiger cub. It could grow into a king of beasts. Golden told him to eat it because young beasts are very nutritious. Now the guy wants to know what it will taste like after frying. The girl said you can't eat the kitten. He's really cute. The guy started teasing the kitten with a piece of meat. The girl stopped him and introduced herself to the kitten. She also asked him what his name was, but he only meowed in response. She thought his name was Meow. There are 9 major powers in the middle world. 1 valley, 2 religions, and 3 sects. The Xuanfu sect is one of them. Her first teacher discovered in her a talent for spells, and that's why she brought her into this cult. She was too timid and not good at fighting. Her cult teacher always supported her. During the battle, the teacher used a spell to send her and the older student away, and they still don't know if he's alive or not. If only she had been stronger, things would have worked out better. The boy asked if she knew the Stone City. It's on the other side of the Monster Mountains. This is his hometown. Beasts often attack him, but they are protected by a good demonic lion, so the beasts never made it to the city. When he was little, he wanted to watch the lion fight, but he accidentally got involved in the battle. And then he was struck by lightning and surrounded by hungry demonic beasts. He realized for the first time how weak he was. It is said that according to the law of this world, the strong survive and the weak perish. He doesn't want to be a loser living like an ant. Du Xiaofu offered to become stronger together. She assumed this treasure suited him better than her. It's a feather from the tail of the purple phoenix they fought. The king said to take it. This feather will help him create a new body. The boy asked if the purple one could get out. This feather is capable of holding his soul. He accepted the feather and told the purple one that when he got out, he would let him not attack people again, and let him protect Zhu Xue for his sake. Magenta didn't think he had feelings for this girl. The sky was colored purple. A purple ball appeared in front of her. A little purple chicken appeared. The girl asked what it was. The boy replied that it was a purple demonic phoenix. He told her not to worry, because he had lost his demonic power, so he could only stay in that form and be her messenger. He told her not to cry. Magenta decided to calm her down as well. He seemed to like her. The girl could use him as a messenger. Another bird came to her with a letter from her older brother. They talked as they walked towards their older brother. He glared angrily at them. The girl was happy to see her big brother, but he pulled her to him. After that, the elder brother asked who the young lady was. Du Xiaofu was angry at being called a lady. The girl introduced the guy and said he saved her life. The older brother clearly didn't think this guy had such an unusual hobby. The main character grabbed him by his clothes and told him to try to repeat what he said. The older brother asked if he really needed to say the words about liking to dress up as a girl again. The girl said there was no need to swear. Maybe this guy even has breasts if he dresses like a girl. She was still asking that they not fight. This time the girl couldn't stand it and shouted that they should stop fighting. They took notice of her at once. The girl started crying because she was afraid of her own voice. Her older brother tried to calm her down, saying it was his fault. The protagonist realized that he had to get out of here. He was sitting in a tree trying to get an apple. Golden Bird said he was too soft-hearted. Was it hard for him to take away the clothes? Du Xiaofu replied that it was better to stay away at a time like this. Suddenly, a man's voice was heard saying that he had to help Mr. Liu get the bloody Lingji mushroom. He suggested ending it soon. After that, they would need to kill the remaining Xuanfu disciples. And that red-haired puppy. They'll catch him this time for sure. Du Xiaofu took a bite of the apple and felt that it was sour. The apple fell down, and he jumped out of the tree. This gang saw him. He heard them talking about something interesting, namely that they want to finish him off. The guy finally changed after a while. He picked up the fallen apple. Du Xiaofu remembered that they had said something about a bloodthirsty mushroom. The protagonist asked if it was tasty. The older brother asked what the bird on his sister's shoulder was. He had not seen it before. This is Magenta. He's her new emissary. The girl also asked why the older brother chased Du Xiaofu away. The older one asked if the sister knew that there was a newly ripened blood mushroom growing nearby. So the older brother didn't want that guy to know about the mushroom. He replied that her guess was correct. This blood mushroom is an important ingredient to strengthen the foundation, so is it okay to talk about it to an outsider? Another guy approached Zhu Xue's sister. She got scared and hid behind her older brother. He told her not to be afraid, because he was the one who called the guy. He's Ling Boguang from Xuanming. Big brother asked where that bald-headed Zhong was. When Lin Boguang was running away, he was still fighting someone. He might have already died. Zhu Xu asked how he could leave him. But didn't they themselves abandon their teacher? If you can't defeat the enemy, you must retreat. There's nothing wrong with that. Someone shouted out that it was true. Another guy showed up. They should have run somewhere far away. It was Liu Kun. Thanks to their stupidity, Liu Kun found the place where the bloody Lingji mushroom grew. Zhu Xu pointed at something with a trembling hand. This is their teacher's sword. Their teacher was preparing to attack. He impaled the other master. There was blood coming out of his mouth. It was the moment for Liu Kun to attack. Liu Kun stabbed his teacher with his staff. The master yelled that he did a good job, but asked what the goon was doing. This Liu Kun also impaled his master. He said goodbye to the master. 2 dogs fought over the bone, but eventually a third ran off with it. He dared to betray his master. Liu Kun laughed. They don't have long to be so righteous. Liu Kun rushed towards them. The elder brother prepared to draw his sword to repel his attack, but then Du Xiaofu's voice stopped them. He jumped toward them. The guy was looking for a mushroom to fill his stomach, but stumbled upon these guys. Liu Kun was displeased to see the same guy again. Lin Boguang realized that he had to get out of here. A mushroom showed up among the rocks. This is the bloody Lingji mushroom that the people in the White Leopard group were chattering about. Golden told him that he had gotten his hands on this mushroom. He ran to him along with the baby tiger. The protagonist jumped over them. He ended up on the bridge. Liu Kun shouted that he had asked for it. He used the Poison Fang spell. His black serpent was already heading towards the protagonist. But Zhu Xue also summoned her bird. Her bird got into a poisonous snake. The girl will never forgive him. As long as they fight, the guy goes first. The older brother shouted that the blood mushroom was his. He used the spell of soul-driven swords. These swords began to collapse the bridge. The main character was barely hanging on to it. The older brother rushed toward the bridge, but Liu Kun's staff flew towards him. This staff destroyed the beginning of the bridge. The older brother began to fall. Zhu Xiu began to worry about him. She called for a bird. This bird caught his older brother. Zhu Xue is determined to avenge her teacher. Fortunately, the main character and the baby tiger were able to survive. He thought he was finished. Golden said this guy was so lucky, just like he was when he was young. He told him to crawl. Once he ate the blood mushroom, his strength would increase by at least 13%. Finally, he was on top. He saw the very bloody mushroom he had almost died for. Tiger liked the look of the mushroom too. A tiger cub bit into a mushroom. Du Xiaofu tapped his tiger. Did that little guy try to eat all of it? It saw a bird. Well, that bird was a blonde. This girl jumped down. Guy managed to dodge that punch. The girl was approaching them. The tiger cub was trembling all over, and Du Xiaofu couldn't move. The girl said to give her a blood mushroom. She was at battle pulse level. This guy was definitely no match for her, but he won't listen to her. He quickly ate the mushroom. The girl called him a bastard and wanted to attack him, but Du Xiaofu jumped off the cliff on purpose. As he flew, his body felt like it was on fire. Golden responded that this guy clearly wants to explode, as he sat down an untreated bloody mushroom. The boy replied that this was not the right time to be talking. He had to think of something right now. The only thing he can do is to use the best training methods of the golden birds. Using his own flesh and blood, he must purify the golden feather. This is the only way he can avoid death, using the fall as a catalyst to assimilate the power of the mushroom. In the end, it might even increase his internal energy. The guy shouted for him to speak in human language. Golden meant that he should hit the rocks with all his energy. Dushovk used the purification of the golden feather, and after that, did what the golden one said. The effects of eating the mushroom began to spread through his body. Human methods of development turn the effect into spiritual energy stored inside the body, and the method of golden birds is designed for external influence. It needs to partition the drug effect to absorb it directly. His body did feel much lighter. Du Xiaofu once again used the golden feather refinement. The tiger cub began to fall, but he's got wings. The tiger cub turned into an adult tiger. Du Xiaofu told him to watch him refine the golden feather. She kept cleaning the golden feather. Tiger tried to rest, but the guy's voice was starting to annoy him. This guy spent all day refining a golden feather. Tiger just watched it, and so Xiaofu flung himself toward the tiger cub. He only laughed. Golden didn't think that the guy would be able to continue for 3 days without a break. In the end, he even managed to rise to the middle level of the universe realm. But the baby tiger has advanced even further. He's already at the level of the Battle Pulse realm. First comes the Universe realm, then the Battle Pulse realm and the Soul Vessel realm. But beasts of the same level of development are stronger than humans. How dare that tiger cub pump behind his back? But the guy now has the body of a golden bird. Even those a level above can't hurt him. He has the blood of the king of beasts, and when he awakens, he will become the lord of the world. The woman stood against Liu Kun. Did this woman really think that her high level allowed her to go on a rampage in the mountains of monsters? In the end, after continuous skirmishes with monsters, she was seriously injured and exhausted. I wonder how much strength she has left. The dogs lunged at the wounded tiger. She didn't think she would be in this situation. He advised her not to be stubborn and just give up all the treasures she had. But a guy on a tiger came up behind her. They learned that it was a royal scale tiger at the level of the Battle Pulse realm. She didn't understand how that was possible. But afterward, the woman fainted. The guy didn't think he'd scared her that badly. Liu Kun shouted at him not to come any closer. This guy's clothes look pretty good, so the main character needs his clothes. The guy changed his clothes, and he tied Liu Kung to a rock. He saw that there was a woman lying behind him. He lifted her up and saw that she had a pouch. Golden said it was a Qiankun bag. Heaven and earth, anything he desires can fit in this bag. This bag was really impressive. The woman started waking up at a bad time. She wanted to kill the guy. And in his defense, he said he'd explain everything. The foot of the monster mountains. The injured Ye Ziqing was hiding there. The lightning jaguar that was looking for her was already in the realm of the universe. She could do nothing against him. Her blood got on the plant, which is why he noticed her. The lightning jaguar possesses incredible speed. With its level, it would be difficult to defeat even a heaven realm level beast. Therefore, there is nothing to be said here about the realm of the universe either. But all she has to do is fight for her life. The lightning jaguar attacked her, and the girl used her whip. She struck out at him, but the beast managed to dodge, went around the place where they fought, and he wanted to get it out of the ground. He bit the girl's hand. She managed to grab a whip from a tree branch. Because of this, she was able to end up in a tree. Looks like the lightning jaguar lost her. He can't seem to spot the victim upstairs. If she attacks now, she has a chance. She decided to take that chance. Her whip almost reached the jaguar. The girl thought it really worked, but the jaguar grabbed that whip. He pulled the whip toward him. The girl started to fall. She began to think that this was the moment she was going to die. Ye Ziqing started to call out to little Du Xiaofu, and then her hand was grabbed. Du Xiaofu said hello to her. He came to save her. He set her down on the ground and asked if she was okay. But the lightning-quick jaguar didn't think to sit on the sidelines. She yelled at him to be careful. Well, for wimps like that, all it takes is one punch. The girl noticed that this guy had gotten stronger. He gave her a hand so she could stand up. But her clothes were torn because of the battle with the jaguar. He turned away and told her about the clothes. A blush appeared on her face. She slapped him and told him not to look. At that moment, the guy realized that women really are impossible to understand. Not only had he evolved to the realm of the universe, but he had also obtained a royal demonic tiger. What he had to endure in those mountains. The guy turned around and asked what was wrong. She replied that it was nothing. Ye Ziqing just wondered if he had been captured, so how did he suddenly end up here? He was grabbed by one beautiful woman, but she wasn't going to hurt him. Later, they split up. He sat down. A lot has happened in these few days. First, the girl in the green clothes stole his trophies. Then he rescued Zhu Xue from Xuanfu. And then he was also attacked by some overbearing swordswoman who thought he was harassing her and chased him. A girl ran away from home secretly from her father just because she was worried about him. Guy tried to calm her down. Why doesn't he go to hell now? He flew far and wide. The man suggested that the uncle return. Du Xiaofu must have died in those monster mountains, but uncle must see him in person, dead or alive. He, Du Jixun, would never abandon any of his brothers from the Du family.
The boy asked his uncle what it was.
There flew Du Xiaofu and asked for his uncle to help him. Du Jixun told everyone to disperse to the sides. Everyone listened to him, and the guy fell to the ground. Du Jixun told the boy that it wasn't what he thought. He should listen to his uncle's explanation. But Du Xiaofu wanted to hug him. He asked why uncle was here. The uncle came to bring him home. He didn't get hurt falling from that height. This guy has a strong body. There's no use taking revenge on Brother Hao now. Maybe they should just change the leader. Du Hao turned to them and told them to do it all again. They can finally go home. Zhu Xu and Big Brother were walking. The guy tripped over a rock. A girl ran up and asked if he was okay. Not only did he fail to gain anything from this journey, he also failed to avenge his teacher. He started pounding the ground with his fists. She told him to stop. Does this guy really think he's the only one who feels bad? She feels bad too. She's not gonna stop. All they can do is think of what happened as a challenge and keep moving forward. The woman stood on the edge of the cliff. She called to her bird. For the shame she had suffered today because of the despicable court, she would repay 100-fold. Liu Kun was approached and asked how long he was going to sleep here. He woke up and saw the people in front of him. They were interesting strangers. The Stone Dragon Empire encompasses a vast territory. The provinces of the empire are divided into separate districts, each with one or more cities. Stone City is located in the borderlands. Royal power does not extend that far, and over time, governance has fallen into the hands of 5 large clans. Stone City, he's finally back. He was told not to run around here. He yelled that he was scared. He apologized. When Ye Ziking ran away from home and headed to the Monster Mountains, Qing Xiaolu thought that she would die there. But things turned out to be not so rosy. Bai Tianming replied that it wasn't easy to get the protection of a demonic tiger. She had gained a lot from this journey, and it was still lucky that this tiger didn't stay with her. Otherwise, the Ye family might have become even stronger. Qing Xiaolu doesn't know where this beast has gone, but it would be beneficial for them to capture it and finish it off. But the tiger cub was already lying near the gate. Xiaofu was very happy to have him back. The guards were surprised that it was Master Xiaofu. The tiger sat on the lad's shoulder, and the guard asked what kind of wild cat it was. Du Xiaofu replied that it was his pet. They noticed that the young master had changed. Could it be that he had become even dumber? The head of the Du clan, Du Renwu. He fancied it looked as if someone had run through here. He wondered if he had imagined it, or if it was all there. Du Jisyun shouted for a guy to wait for him. Du Renwu asked, wasn't it Xiaofu? That boy's been running around like crazy since they got back. There's nothing a man can do to stop him. Du Renwu asked if there was really no one who could stop him. There sat the protagonist's father with a drink in his hand. His drink dropped because of his son's loud voice. He managed to grab her in time. Xiaofu shouted to his father about being back. He saw that there was something lying in the plate. Xiaofu was still looking for his drunkard father. Maybe he was in the kitchen, but his father threw something at him. Today he's gonna teach that little brat a lesson. Xiaofu caught what was flying at him. Dad wondered how he was able to catch it. Well, he just smiled. The man still dared to attack him. The man asked if he was expecting a hug. Xiaofu replied that he had gone to look for Old Man Bai. Tigger looked toward his father, and his father looked back at him. The tiger cub began to shiver a little. Xiaofu called the baby tiger after him. They came to the secret battle pavilion. He used his foot to open the door. Xiaofu shouted to the old man to come out to him, but the old man immediately vaporized. The guy yelled to stand where he was standing. Old Bai asked, wondering if he thought this old man was dumb. After crashing in, the boy replied contentedly. He asked what his relationship was with that woman. Bai motioned for him to remove his foot before he began to explain. Stomping on an old man is pretty unseemly. The guy told him to stop talking. Still, the old man decided to tell him everything. In fact, she's his mistress. Xiaofu laughed, and the old man shouted that he didn't believe him at all. Anyway, she's very strong. If they ever met again, he would like to be her apprentice. Bai offered to be his apprentice. The old man picked up the broom. He broke off small pieces of straw from it, whereupon he told the boy to watch carefully. There was a small cobweb on the wall. He threw the straw in that spot, specifically the spider. Du Xiaofu watched this with interest, but then I was disappointed. That old man missed. He was never to be relied upon. He'd better take a look at this. He found these items in the pavilion. Even the fire of the Golden Phoenix can't melt them. There's a stone coffin in the ancestral hall of the Du clan. He must spend a night in it, and then he will gain something. Xiaofu didn't finish listening to him and left. Still, Old Bai hit the ants, not the spider. Du Xiaofu entered the ancestral hall. Golden asks if this is the haunted hall of his family's ancestors. The guy doesn't know about the ghosts. He hasn't even seen a shadow, so it's all just rumors. But this object above them is really creepy. It's a 1,000-year-old stone coffin. Golden recognized that this guy had a rich family. Golden noticed that the coffin was glowing. The symbols on the coffin have also awakened. But someone's coming. It was his stupid brother, Du Hao. Du Hao saw Du Xiaofu enter this place. Where could he have gone? Why did this guy even go to a haunted temple at night? The wind is blowing. Suddenly there was a roar. Du Hao was already scared. But the cat got away. He calmed down a bit after that, but he didn't know what awaited him next. Du Xiaofu eerily said in a creepy voice. How long had it been since he had seen living people? He greeted Du Hao. Do Hao cried, after which the guy ran away as fast as he could. What a coward he is. Suddenly another voice was heard, saying that this little fellow must be braver. Something began to happen to the coffin he was standing on. It was something that wanted to attack the guy. Golden asked what was in his pocket. It was a small tower that also glowed. Golden said to throw it away now. His advice was followed by a guy. The tower began to glow even more. Some sort of silhouette appeared and was saying that they were finally meeting again. He thanked the guy for freeing him from 1,000 years of confinement. He'll even give him a reward. It will allow him to become an important link, namely his physical body. The smoke began to press down on him. The unknown spirit was telling him to hold still. This smoke slowly penetrated his body. Gradually, he will no longer feel pain. The guy fell. His body began to glow golden, and he himself called that spirit a bastard. Behind him was the shadow of a golden phoenix. Didn't his mama teach him not to mess around in other people's houses? And he brought such a filthy thing with him. The unknown spirit asked who he was. Before asking someone's name, he should first introduce himself. His attack reached the spirit. This spirit didn't seem so big anymore. It was a child. Golden didn't understand why a child was here. If he wants to elicit sympathy by pretending to be a child, he should act more cute. The Golden One asked who he was. He was just the spirit body of the golden bird, and yet he behaved so brazenly in front of this spirit. It was reminiscent of a dog lunging at a weakened tiger. Golden was angry at being leveled at the dog. He decided he needed to do it again. He asked who was here with the dog. He held the child by his clothes. Then he's on a phoenix loser who's worse than a duck. That kid found his weak spot. He punched the guy in the face, after which he landed on the ground. This golden phoenix couldn't even withstand a single blow. But the fetters still wouldn't go away. The guy woke up and was behind him. Xiaofu called him a vile brat. This guy turned back into a human being. The kid's a little confused. Xiaofu asked what he had missed. The little boy replied that he could tell him everything. He's usually a kid walking by. He begged to be released. Golden yelled for the brat not to try to fool him. But no sooner had the Golden Man finished speaking than the protagonist slammed him to the ground. Golden asked how he had no hesitation in hitting a child like that. Xiaofu called the brat too ugly. The Golden Phoenix realized that humans are pretty creepy. He remembered his voice. He was inside that turret. The boy asked what was to be done with him. Golden answered that he had come with bad intentions, and people like that deserve nothing less than death. Snotty told them to stop. He knows how to open the bag he's holding. Still, he was conscious. Xiaofu was already looking at him interestedly. If the brat didn't say anything useful right now, he was willing to bet that this kid would really finish him off. His name is Piao Chong, and he's a master of talismans. Xiaofu only laughed, because he is so innocent and has a good name. He was starting to like him. Piao Chun told him to shut up. This Changkun bag won't open. Can he open it? If he wasn't mistaken, this bag had an owner. If the discovery of her powers, the contents will be destroyed. So how can he open it then? Piao Chun realized that asking the master of the bag to open it was not an option. Then the only way was to find a talisman master who was stronger than the one who had created the bag to break the spell. Suddenly, he started bragging about himself. The guy doesn't know why, but he suddenly felt like punching this master of talismans. Xiaofu told him to open that bag. Piao Chong replied that even a powerful talisman master like him couldn't do anything while tied up. He offered to let him go first. You need a body to use spells. Goldie untied him, but some kind of jewelry appeared around his neck. It's a spiritual castle. He created with his power. This lock has not been removed. This master won't be able to attack anymore. Xiaofu recognized that it was cool. If he wants to restore his true glory, he needs this boy who is protected by the golden bird. His spiritual energy is very pure. He began to open the pouch. The liver is like a tree. One mascot. The 5 organs are like the 5 elements. It was indeed his spell, and so the pouch was opened. The boy asked to be taught the same. And also he asked who the master was. First, he has to open this pouch. From this pouch sprinkled jewelry as well as a scallop. It was all just girly trinkets. The master never promised there'd be treasure inside. There was a knock on Ziking's room. It was her father who inquired whether the girl was asleep or not. She immediately hid what she was doing, and she asked what her dad was doing here. If he hadn't come, his sweet little girl might have avoided with some guy again. She asked what her dad was saying and told him to leave. Actually, he's here to say something important. This kid from the Du family saved her. They should prepare gifts and visit this family in the coming days. The girl asked if her dad was going to go in person. Ziking must know what the other families of Stone City want. Thanks to the protection of the Thunder Lion, no one would dare to attack him even if he is alone. Still, in the current situation, one must be more cautious and humble the pride of the city head. The Ye and Du families were on good terms, so they need to set aside their pride and form an alliance with the Du family. Ziking has always been a smart girl. Sooner or later, she will become the head of the Ye family and the ruler of the city, on whose shoulders lies the protection of its thousands of residents. Her father won't be able to protect her all her life. She must grow up and learn, even when everyone she trusted betrayed her. She'll have to take responsibility, and also to kill. Someone sang about how he was the greatest and there was no one more beautiful. It was Old Man Bai. A book flew at him, but he caught it with ease. Old Bai asked, did he really think he could get him with such pathetic tricks? But no sooner had he finished speaking than 3 more books flew at him. Xiao Fu sat surrounded by many books. Bai asked, the guy wants to bury himself under the loads of knowledge their ancestors left them. Xiao Fu noticed Bai, but he accidentally touched a stack of books. All those books fell on him. The old man didn't mean to be buried in the literal sense. Bai asked, he wants to become a spellmaster. The guy doesn't know much about spells yet though, so he's come to look for related books. He's finally getting interested in spells. While that's good, it also means one thing. The guy kept trying to get a hold of the old man. Xiao Fu asked if he knew of any spell books. What's he doing up in the clouds? Bai has spent many years in the secret battle pavilion and knows all the books available here. He told him to wait while he looked for those books for the guy. Bai brought books with a table of contents. The guy was surprised that it was really only a table of contents. Bai told him to read and take his time, and he would leave it for now. The old man is gone. The guy decided to cheer up and finally start studying these books. He spent all his time with those books. Innate talent is the key to master talisman makers. That's why talisman masters are so rare. At best, 1 out of 10,000 martial artists is a talisman master. He thought he'd managed to get something done. His light glowed, but it's out. It was another of his failures. He asked the baby tiger if maybe he was too stupid. Why can't he create a spell? Even though he does everything according to the instructions. Perhaps the errors lie in the books. But what is written in the book is not the problem. That arrogant little brat showed up. Xiao Fu still needs a teacher. Xiao Fu gave this brat a cold stare. The master asked me to show him some emotion. Also this morning, he tried to wake up the brat inside that tower. He'd called out to him, using cymbals and a drum to get him to come out of the turret this morning. Did he have any reaction to that at all? It was just his way of testing the guy's determination to learn the talismans. After a day of observation, he came to the conclusion that he had some perspective after all. He decided to take him on as an apprentice and teach him spells. The boy wondered if that was true. The master replied that yes, he will also charge for lessons. The fee is not much at all. He only wants all the spiritual energy of Du Xiaofu's body for his recovery. Does this brat really want to fool him again? The guy asked. After he gave him all the spiritual energy and he recovered, would he stay here and teach him? The master claimed he was only telling the truth. He's only at the level of the universe realm. His energy still won't be enough to restore him. Besides, even after giving it away, in a few days, Du Xiaofu would be fine. Snotty was still trying to convince him somehow with his cute face. Xiao Fu replied that it was not going to happen. The master asked why. It's because he doesn't want such a disgusting-looking teacher. The guy will continue reading. Du Xiaofu was indeed a stubborn man. The master got off the table. From earlier times to their days, there were those who were the only ones who used the body as a container for the cycle of the 5 elements. And these people were the masters of talismans. Lungs for gold, liver for wood, kidneys for water, heart for fire. These are called the 4 emblems. The 4 emblems concentrate on the central organ, the spleen, responsible for earth. This is called the harmony of the 4 emblems. The 5 elements are the basis of the spell, but they have different forms. After much research, the masters of talismans have divided into 3 types. Pill masters who created good enhancing pills. And there were masters of weapons who are good at making spiritual weapons. Finally, the rarest, because their art is the most difficult to study, are the masters of battle talismans. The master was among the 3rd martial talisman masters. Du Xiaofu wanted to learn all 3, but he'd better curb his appetite. Guy asked why he was saying that. It took him decades to master just 1 type of talisman art, let alone 3. Furthermore, he lacks 1 crucial quality to become a master of talismans. Xiao Fu asked what kind of quality it was. The master pointed to a line in the book. It said something about broad spiritual roots. The guy asked what that meant. But it's getting late, and it's time for the master to rest. He returned to his turret. Xiao Fu began to shake the tower and asked what these broad spiritual roots were. The master told him to respect his elders. If he gave him some of his spiritual energy, maybe he could help him. The guy agreed to it if it was a small amount of spiritual energy. The master said that he had to find all these herbs before he could turn to him again. The man asked if the appetizer the Lord had ordered was ready. He told the 2 girls that they were following him. Even the names of these herbs sound impressive. The guy doesn't know if he has enough money for that. The steward and maids were already approaching, for the Lord had called. Xiao Fu opened the doors, and they all collided. The manager fell upon the maids, and the plate broke. Xiao Fu asked if Manager Song was okay. Xiao Fu helped him up. The manager asked if he was going somewhere since he was up so early. The guy replied that there was something he needed to do. The manager said he couldn't leave like that. Either way, he should change into something more appropriate. There was some kind of meeting. The man turned to his older brother. He said the third brother still won't show his face. He said to leave it. Afterward, he asked what about Xiao Fu. He was in his room. Du Hao's mother said that this boy really has no manners. All the elders are already here and he is still sleeping. She told her son to translate it. But Du Hao can't do that. Last time, Du Xiaofu not only took away their foundation pills, but also said that he would rob them as soon as he saw them. The head of the family was surprised by this statement. What insolence be that as it may, Du Hao is still that boy's cousin. How could he bully his family like that? Does the fact that he had been robbing Du Xiaofu since he was a kid not count? The main character appeared, to which others were surprised. And the head of the family asked why he was so delayed. He really is the third brother's son. Who knows what kind of woman he found to produce such a boy? Others laughed at it, but he looked menacingly at the offending woman. It gave her goosebumps. A servant came running in and said that Lord and Lady Yi were already at the gate. Xiaofu was surprised that Ye Ziqing was also here. Du Hao's mother told her son to get up quickly. They need to go greet them sooner rather than later. The city manager said these ceremonies are unnecessary. His daughter arrived uninvited. Jixun apologizes, for the Du family lacks manners. He told Lord Yi to take a seat and ask someone to bring tea. His reckless daughter fled into the monster mountains and almost died there. It was only thanks to the Du family that she was able to return alive. That's too polite of Lord Yi. The Ye and Du families have always been allies. They only did what they had to do by saving the girl. The Lord said to bring the gifts here. The servant obeyed the order and brought a red box. The Lord began to open the box. Mo Lin's sword was there. It is said that this sword was forged by 3-star level weapons caster. He looks really powerful. This sword is a gift, namely a gift for the young hero Du Xiaofu. The head told the guy to accept the gift. Du Xiaofu approached Lord Yi to accept the sword. Du Hao's mother said that everyone knew that today was a special day, and this guy dressed so casually. Du Hao supported his mother. Doesn't the others think Xiaofu is dressed indecently? But a successful person doesn't have to take care of little things like clothes. Ye Ziqing asked her father if what she said was right. Lord Yi replied that he most certainly did, and told the guy to raise his head. The Ye family has several clothing stores in the city. He suggested that he walk with Ziqing to pick something out. They went out into the city. There were a lot of people here. It's unusually lively today. Stone Town never changes. What could be so special about it? The guy probably just hasn't been here in a long time. He hadn't walked around the city since he was a kid. The last time his father brought him to Du's third brother's store to buy clothes for the New Year's celebration. That store was bought by the N family about 5 years ago. How long has that kid been in the house? He asked to be taken back to his childhood. In these few years, all the major families of Stone Town have gained strength. The N, Qing, and Bai families have kept their restaurant and stores, while smaller businesses have to close down or come under their control under this pressure. Even Yi's family was affected by it. He tapped her lightly on the head. This was not the Ziqing he knows. The girl he remembers is the stubborn princess who didn't let her teacher sleep for 3 days for the sake of winning one fight. The girl screamed for him to take his hand away. He saw the Chuntan medicine store. Afterward, the guy remembered he had a list of ingredients. He told the girl to wait for him at the clothing store. He would come after he bought some potions. She told him to handle it quickly, since she doesn't like to wait long. He went into the store. Du Xiaofu walked up to the salesman and asked for forgiveness. He needs 1 set of each of these ingredients. The seller asked since Qian, which is 5 grams, each gentleman wants to buy. The boy didn't understand what kind of changs the seller was talking about. He replied that it was a measure of weight for medicine. The man wondered if the young boy was in his right mind. But Xiaofu forgot to make that clear. He said to give him 1 jin or 500 grams of each. The salesman was surprised at the amount. Most of the right potions are here. It was really a lot. The salesman asked if he was buying all this stuff to make talismans. The guy replied that that was all correct. Some of the ingredients are quite unusual and are for masters of talismans. If they are in the replenishment tomorrow, he will send them to his house. If there were more of them, even he wouldn't be able to carry them off. Now he's gonna pay for everything. He had too many bags, causing him to not see where he was going. He called out to the girl. Ziqing replied that he was too loud. He was late, and the girl said she hated waiting. She led him behind her. The guy asked where they were going. The girl told him to just shut up. Ye Ziqing shut him in his stall, after which she threw him some clothes. The girl picked out his own clothes for him and told him to put them on and then go out. The second son of the En family, En Hu, was there. This guy's so loud and he's always hanging around. En Hu asked why he can't have it. This set is already ordered, so it's not for sale. But he can take whatever he wants, even this girl. The girl asked this gentleman to stop, or she would have to call the master. Ziqing replied that a person of his status doesn't need to dig up things ordered by someone else. En Hu clearly fell in love with her at first sight. If this gentleman likes their clothes so much, why doesn't he ask to be measured and order something for himself? The man touched the girl's waist. This gentleman was trying to be stopped. So this is Mrs. E's store. He invited her to look in his house. Suddenly a voice was heard calling this gentleman a bastard. Someone's foot struck En Hu's face. So it was his family that bought out the Du family's clothing store after all. En Hu said so this brat wouldn't dare to underestimate him. Some drawings appeared on his hand. He also developed fangs. The transformed En Hu was walking towards them. On his fingers were long and sharp claws. As it turned out, it was a special technique of the En family that strengthened the defense. You shouldn't attack it directly. En Shu said, if a guy wants to become a hero so badly, it won't be easy. But he's definitely going to help him with that. En Shu is attacking. Du Xiaofu pushed the girl away. En Shu threw a punch. Ye Ziqing began to worry about the guy. Part of the building had already been destroyed. Lucky the guy had time to dodge that attack. His opponent had tremendous destructive power. En Shu called him a hero for only knowing how to run away. He told that pathetic ant to attack. Du Xiaofu used a wave strike. Well, his attack didn't go through for some reason. En Shu grabbed his arm and punched him. Du Xiaofu flew back to the table before destroying it. Ziqing ran up to him and asked if he was all right. His opponent only laughed loudly. The guy replied that it was fine. En Shu didn't even try to dodge his attack now. He must have been confident that she wouldn't hurt him. Guy should be careful. En Shu looks like a complete fool, but is much stronger than he looks at first glance. En Shu was still laughing at him and asked if he had already fallen from just one punch. A basket was launched into it. He shattered the basket and its contents exploded. Du Xiaofu wanted to kick him, but even so, his opponent had time to engage his technique. The guy jumped backwards away from him. Even if this guy were to just stand there, he wouldn't be able to inflict a scratch on En Shu. Du Xiaofu once again headed over to attack him. En Shu used the Golden Tiger technique. Du Xiaofu threw a series of punches, but it was all to no avail. So the guy decided to attack him from behind, but En Shu managed to dodge his attack. En Shu wanted to quickly increase the distance between them, and it was too fast. But Xiaofu was even faster. En Shu was caught. Xiaofu wasn't done with him yet. It was the palm of a fierce wave. The protagonist is able to concentrate all his energy in his hands to increase his strength. His opponent wouldn't be able to dodge. En Shu used a storm fist. Xiaofu used a giant wave that was level 3. His punch was powerful. The others watched in horror. The guy managed to destroy En Hu's Golden Tiger technique. The Golden Tiger technique could block the attack of the highest level of the universe realm. It was just impossible. The protagonist's new clothes are torn, and he notices some kind of package in his pocket. It must be a gift from the store, but it looks kind of rough. Ziqing punched him. En Shu shouted that Big Brother should take revenge. This Du Xiaofu is too brazen. He has no respect for their family. This older brother's name was En Lon. His younger brother was defeated in 2 moves. It seems that this time there was a strong representative in the Du family. Yet they had hidden him for 10 years. He told the second brother not to hit on Ye Ziqing next time. She's no good for him. En Hu asked what his words meant. Does he really mean to say that this girl is better suited for him? En Lon tapped him on the leg. What a load of crap he was saying. His injury today proves he's no match for her. En Hu said for Dad to comment on it somehow. Does he really want to see his son beaten for nothing? And Qingsun, the patriarch of the En family and father of 2 brothers, asked what Lon thought about it. Du Xiaofu is much younger than them. If they tried to attack him, it would ruin his reputation. If this becomes publicized, people will start thinking that they can't handle the Du family fairly and don't know how to lose with dignity. Does that mean they have to leave it like that? They can't forgive something like this. Of course not. They won't let it go unnoticed. The Golden Phoenix cultivation technique is so strong, and the requirements to develop it are so great. But this guy shouldn't underestimate himself. He had easily defeated a master at the advanced level of the universe realm, while only being at the beginning level of the same realm. In the mountains, when he had just reached the universe realm, he had defeated the head of the monster hunters who surpassed Du Xiaofu in development. Compared to ordinary martial artists, masters from big families have stronger foundations and their techniques are unique. Who knows how many masters like En-Hu are in this city. There were shouts on the street for them to give Du Xiaofu away. A fool from the Du family injured their young master. They won't forgive such a thing. Du Xiaofu came out and asked what was going on. A servant came running in and said things were bad. En's family gathered a lot of people and they came after him. En Qingsong told Du Renwu to give them the culprit or he would get in big trouble. Genwu tried to calm him down somehow. After all, they should investigate everything first. But Xiaofu had beaten Hu to such a state, and now he was still defending him. Sinsen clearly wants a fight. Xiaofu has arrived. He asked who needed what from him. Renwu replied that Qingsong said that Xiaofu had injured En-Hu yesterday. Was it true? The guy was just teaching a scoundrel who was stalking a girl a lesson. He doesn't know who he was. En-Hu kept saying that the guy just became jealous because of his closeness with Ye Ziqing, and therefore hit him out of jealousy. He'd have to look himself in the mirror first to make that claim. It was just an ordinary skirmish between young boys. En-Hu was weaker, so he lost. And Xiaofu didn't hit him that hard either. He's just pretending. Genwu offered to fight if he dared. Zinsen asked how dare he, and sent his men to attack. Du's family was also not left out. They asked for it, because they were just looking for a reason to fight, so they won't give in to them. And who shouted to the other not to push? Someone kicked him in the ass. He saw the movement of his foot and will recall it to him. And Hu was not the only one in Stone City who had reached the realm of the universe. From Du's family, he will teach him a lesson. Some of the family members were still treating the guy cruelly yesterday, and yet they defend him in the face of En. Kingson took En-Hu away and said they would not forget it. En-Lon walked up to Xiaofu and introduced himself. His brother lost to him, but that doesn't mean anything. There will be a contest soon, and he will avenge him there. Xiaofu was happy about this, and he would wait for this moment. The guy is at the entry level of the universe realm, but his power punch is at least at the advanced level. That was intriguing, and Lon said goodbye to him. The office of the head of the Du family. Du Xiaofu sat there and waited while his uncle dealt with something. Golden said his older uncle is a sly fox. He's been ignoring him for an hour. Xiaofu provoked the An family. So this time he'll definitely get his ass kicked. However, he's thick-skinned enough to endure it. Genwu asked if the guy knew what his mistake was. This En-Hu is a criminal, and he only did a good deed. Genwu threw a book at him. That book hit the guy, and he fell out of his chair. Xiaofu asked why the uncle had done this. The guy's mistake was to reveal the Du family's position too early and put them in the same boat as the Ye family. For a long time, he couldn't cultivate normally. So he didn't need to delve into the relationships between families. But now that the guy was suddenly able to advance significantly, and even saved Lord Yi's daughter, the rules of the game had changed. The Du family is the youngest of the 5 largest families in the city, and the Yi family is the oldest and most prominent. However, the strength of the Yi family is no longer as significant. The 3 families are worried and ready to attack anyone, so Ye Baolin needs an ally, and he won't miss such a chance. He made a big show of showing his respect for the young hero Du Xiaofu, which clearly shows that he wants their family's support. Xiaofu said that uncle is wrong. As long as there is a Thunder Lion, no one will dare to oppose the Ye family as it is. It is said that the ancestor of the Yi family rescued a Thunder Lion, after which it became the family's guardian for many centuries. But it is also said that the lion has stopped in its development, and its life is nearing its end. Xiaofu didn't believe it was even possible. On the path of cultivation, every step is difficult, and breaking through to the next level is like walking on the edge between life and death. The intermediate level that the demonic lion was stuck at was very difficult. In addition, the lion was severely injured, so it's not surprising in that it's dying. Xiaofu couldn't understand why this big fluffy guy's life was stuck in such a place. When the lion dies, his spirit and flesh will change everything in the city, and the Yi family won't be the only ones to benefit from it. Yesterday, when Ye Baolin came here and wanted to conclude it, he promised some of the spoils from the lion. Xiaofu asked if his uncle agreed. He couldn't refuse, for Xiaofu had beaten En-Hu. They didn't come today to wreak havoc, but to clarify the positions between the families. But the guy didn't understand. Thunder Lion was defending the Stone City, and he was already planning how to divide his body. The Demon Lion's blood and flesh didn't belong to them, so they wouldn't help put it down. The Du family can no longer remain neutral. If they are not careful, they may face an enemy in the form of any 2 families, or even all 3 families at the same time. Quo's status in the Stone City is in jeopardy. Xiaofu asked what he could do for the family. He must win the 5 clans competitions and go to the Thunder Lake to develop his body. The Thunder Lake that belongs to the Yi family is the rarest place for cultivation. With the blood and flesh of a Thunder Lion, a person can achieve many things and even obtain a Thunder Body. Thunder Lake opens every few years, and the prerequisite for gaining access to it is winning a contest between 5 clans. so he can help the family if he gets into Thunder Lake. If he can get there, he will have the opportunity to assess the condition of the Thunder Lion. If the lake is okay, the lion is alive and the rest of the family cannot act indiscreetly. If the lion is dead, the lake will be affected, but then Shofu can join forces with the Ye family to cover it up. The guy understood. He's going to practice. This kid beat up En-Hu in a few moves and didn't even pay attention to his level of development. He really is the third brother's son. King Song asked Lon what's up with this Du Xiaofu. They've already figured it out, so there's no reason to keep asking. Zinsen took a drink. Du Renwu is cunning, for he let his second brother attack and stopped Xiaofu, who was already ready to engage. Therefore, En-Long was unable to assess Du Xiaofu's cultivation level. Apparently, he was the one who was their trump card right now. Qing Song asked if En-Long was confident. Sounds like he should practice solitude for a while. But first, he will force Bei and Qing into the light. It's okay if they just observe them. Wild mountains in the vicinity of the Stone City. He used the gold feather refinement again. The noise even caused the master to wake up and climb out of his tower. He managed to dodge a rock that flew in his direction. Feeling from the hardening of body and spirit is revitalizing. The guy was wondering when he would finish level 1 of the gold feather purification. The master watched the actions of the protagonist with horror. Du Xiaofu asked why he was so dumbfounded. The master was surprised, for how could he cultivate the golden phoenix art? It was already a miracle that he was able to absorb his spirit. But not only did he do it, he cultivated his technique. This guy is man or bird. If the phoenixes find out about this, he won't get off easy. It was just something incredible. A man studying phoenix art. He's definitely a human bird. The guy hit him and told him to knock it off. The master flew somewhere very far away. The results of the body hardening are really impressive for kicking it this far. But the master successfully made a comeback. He called the guy a bully, and asked him if he definitely wanted to learn the art of spellcasting or not. This master was quite awake. Perhaps he had already recovered. The frequency of the protagonist's spiritual energy exceeded his expectations. It helped him noticeably. The master flared up and told him to treat him with respect. After all, he was the one who had asked him for the favor. But the master must not forget that he also asked for a return favor. So, it's just a mutual calculation. He will train him. But although he has some talent, the master cannot guarantee that he will definitely become a spellcaster. If the protagonist fails to become a caster, he will regret it. How it pissed off the master. To become a caster, he would need tremendous psychic power and thick spiritual veins. His spiritual veins were undeveloped, but he had done a good job developing psychic power. The master asked if he had gathered all the herbs he had mentioned. Xiaofu had lost a bit during the fight, but still the herbs remained almost a jin each. The apothecary also said that some of the herbs were missing, but they would send them later. The boy wondered why he needed them now. They were just nutrients that were useful for the development of his spiritual veins. But first, he must find out that the guy had the talent to work with the divine cauldron. The master began to recite spells. Master said to raise the energy to his head and purify the divine spell cauldron with the qi that flowed through his veins.
He told the guy to watch carefully since he only shows it once.
Divine cauldron spellcasters are natural origin Kui carriers. What was surprising was that a boy who was at the universe realm level wasn't knocked out by the divine cauldron's energy. He really is a birdman. The master finished his spell. In his current state, he can only work with the spell cauldron within certain limits. He'll have to work his way up to it. Mediocrity can't become a master spellcaster. The boy decided to give it a try. Even a genius would take a month to figure out the working principle of the spell cauldron. Soon he'll be begging for his help. The guy decided to try to do what his master did. He thought he had it all worked out. Suddenly, the cauldron began to crumble before his eyes. After the boiler was ripped to shreds, the guy was thrown back. The protagonist wondered why his cauldron exploded. It's hard to create a divine spell cauldron. Even with talent and a teacher, it's not an easy task. So what's a handyman to do when this kid starts begging for his help? He was idling again. Now a guy finally approached him. The master asked if he was finished. The boy sat down on his knees and asked that he teach him the art of spellcasters. Now he realizes how difficult it is to become a caster. Du Xiaofu pleaded guilty and asked for forgiveness for his impertinence. The master asked what about the spiritual energy then? The boy is ready to give him as much as he wishes. This guy wants the master to train him, but he doesn't even address him formally. That's not respectful at all. He had already asked to be accepted as a disciple. From the first day he saw the master, he realized his awesomeness. Despite the fragility of his body, he was able to create such a powerful spell cauldron. If he restored his body to its full glory, no one in the world would be able to defeat him. But alas, it was all in the master's dream. This guy had gotten the body of a golden phoenix, so he was more or less worthy of being his apprentice. But he noticed that for some reason it had gotten so bright. Du Xiaofu was able to create a divine spell cauldron, much to the master's surprise. He had indeed succeeded in creating a divine cauldron. These cauldrons are like wild beasts that consume spiritual energy. White, green, black, scarlet, and yellow. It was a 5-color talisman. Could the master have been so narrow-minded? If others found out about it, they would run here to ask to become his teacher. Du Xiaofu can no longer hold him back. The cauldron began to dissipate. In fact, he's used up all his energy on this one. Now he needs to rest. Master asked if he had created a divine spell cauldron before. The guy replied that he didn't, and asked what was wrong. The fact is that the boiler he created turned out to be first class. The master congratulated him on his achievement. He gained the base level that a combat caster needs. Du Xiaofu asked what about the pill masters and weapon masters. That asshole kid was getting on the master's nerves. Xiaofu asked him to tell him, and in return, he would give him some more energy after he rested. The master said let the lad give him twice the usual amount. The attributes of fire and wood are needed for the pill master, and gold and water are needed for the armorer. Combat spellcasters need to concentrate all 5 attributes in their bodies. This makes them the rarest and most powerful. Whatever a guy chooses to do, it's gonna be hard to achieve. And greed is not acceptable. Otherwise, he risks biting off more than he can swallow. If he wants him to be his teacher, the master can teach him any of the 3 paths. Whichever one the boy chooses. The guy picked all the paths. Nor does he want the master to be his teacher. How it pissed him off. How many geniuses had begged him to take them on as apprentices? The silly brat has everything he needs to become a spellcaster, including the fact that it was a master he met. He should be grateful to the gods, and he's still stubborn. Without his spiritual energy, no help will he get from the teacher. That old crook is too hot-tempered. Over the next few days, Du Xiaofu used his spiritual energy to create a spell cauldron time after time. So he continued practicing the golden feather purification to develop his body, and his strength grew little by little. And Ren Qingchong was quietly resting in his small tower. There was no word from him, as if he was going to sleep for centuries. The guy asked if the master was asleep. He finally developed the ability to create a cauldron. But what should he do next? But there was still no answer. The guy bought all the materials requested, and now he's admitting to lying, pretending the handyman isn't there. He is quite good at martial arts, and also has 5 attributes that are a prerequisite to become his student. However, the master hasn't really taught him anything, but keeps asking him to become a disciple officially and give him energy. That would be reckless. Ren Qingchong replied to have the guy give him a triple dose of energy, or else he wouldn't do anything. They agreed. He'll teach him the Taya Soul spell. The boy will be able to use it to develop his power. This energy comes out of nowhere. Neither earth nor heaven knows its source. Yin and Yang give rise to everything in this world. A blob of energy appeared above the wizard's fingers. Du Xiaofu clapped his hands, for he clearly enjoyed this sight. The guy said it was pretty cool. Well, what else could he think when his best master did it? The guy asked if his spiritual veins would develop after he took the spiritual essence. He can take it if he's tired of living. So many spiritual medicines had been used in the condensation process, so the effect would be too significant. By taking the essence directly, the guy will destroy his soul. Masters threw the essence water. It boiled over. The guy felt sorry for the fish. Ren Qingchong told him to strip and immerse himself there for 10 years. Then his spiritual veins would be restored. Without wasting a second, the guy went into the water. 10 years is too long. He has to get all the energy today. The master stopped him. Ren Qingchong asked for his spiritual energy. The guy called him a greedy brat. The spiritual energy with the power of the Golden Phoenix is wonderful. He stopped him again. Du Xiaofu turned around and asked what was wrong again. The master shoved him in the back. Energy was better absorbed in the middle of the pond, so he decided to help him. He also relayed for the guy to practice the Taya Soul technique while absorbing energy. If the protagonist fails to understand the technique and gets burned in that pond, the master will grieve for him. He remembered his teacher's words. Even the master recognized that he was indeed a monster. This guy had mastered the Taya Soul technique so quickly, but something was wrong. He flew to the guy. There was so much tension here. He just had an incredible spiritual battle pulse. The master feels the spiritual seal that can only exist in the spiritual pulse of the higher masters. What is going on here at all? His spiritual veins were not damaged or undeveloped at all, but secretly sealed. But who could have done this to him under the master's nose? Ren Qingchong wanted to take a look at the guy's secrets. He noticed some kind of gold thing. Golden told this master to stay away from this thing or will be consumed. It's his secret bone. The master observed that the golden bird had lavished a generous gift on this boy. He even let him take everything he had. But the Golden One didn't do it on purpose. Who knew his spirit veins were so powerful? The Master also senses another ancient beast in this body. He and the Purple Phoenix fought until they were fatally exhausted, after which they ended up in his body along with his bones. The kid fooled them into restoring his bones and blood. Later, the Purple One discovered a feather from his tail, which gave him the ability to restore his body. Then he left, and the Golden One noticed that fragments of his secret bone were mixed with the kid's spiritual veins. What a shame that the purifying blood had changed his veins. The Master would be interested to see a warrior with the Seal of Ulin. Strangely enough, the guy had only started at level 3. With that level of combat pulse, he shouldn't have had a seal. Zhen Qingchong didn't understand then how this was possible. Du Xiaofu started to open his eyes and he was licked by the tiger cub. He's finally awake. The guy didn't remember what had happened to him. At first, the Master misunderstood, but now he's studied his body. He has developed spiritual veins, but they are sealed. Du Xiaofu still didn't understand anything. This guy has very strong spiritual veins, so strong that even a master can't appreciate their power. But they've been sealed since birth. And it was done by someone so powerful that, even in his heyday, it would have been difficult for a craftsman to break such a seal. So his spiritual veins were indeed sealed. His battle veins had been useless for years, and if his spiritual veins were also sealed, then someone was trying to cripple him forever. Who could have been so cruel to him? Maybe a powerful enemy of the Du family or some deceased Grand Master. Either way, no one wants the weak. Ren Qingchong asked what the guy would do. The elders of his clan are unaware of the fact that he has sealed spiritual veins, and it is unlikely that the Du family is capable of dealing with such a powerful opponent. He can only rely on himself, so he must become strong enough to handle things on his own. Du Xiaofu will help the Master recover, and in return, he will remove this seal from him. If a normal person were faced with something like this, it would take him a long time to calm down, or perhaps he would run crying to his family for protection. But this extraordinary kid was able to come to the only right decision in a short time. The seals were weakened by the effects of the wizard's potion, and that was enough to give the lad a good future as a caster. This guy is going to accomplish a lot in life. Master told him to be his disciple. When he regained his former strength, he would help Du Xiaofu finally break the seal. As wonderful as everything is, he still doesn't want to be his apprentice. The Master got angry and replied not to expect him to teach him anything else, or help him with the seal. Xiaofu tried to calm him down and told him that they could be brothers if the Master couldn't be his teacher. And if he doesn't want to be his brother, he might want to be his little sister. Master told him to get off his back with his stupid ideas. Xiaofu was still trying to talk to him as if they were family. What can you do if the Master is too small to be a teacher and also looks creepy? Xiaofu offered him to be the big brother on odd days. He would be on even days. 6 hours later, before heaven and earth, he, Du Xiaofu, swears that from this day forward, Ren Qingchong will be his big brother. They will get along with each other. The older brother undertakes to care for and protect the younger brother, and the younger brother undertakes to respect the older brother more or less. They pledge themselves to be together in days of hardship and in days of joy, and if anyone breaks this oath, let them be struck by thunder and die a miserable death. Zhen Qingchong asked what the nonsense about the elder brother pledges to care for and protect the younger brother, and the younger brother pledges to more or less respect the elder brother. Xiaofu told him to just swear. He had already agreed that the Master would be his elder to make it easier for him. The Master surrendered, and now they were brothers. But he told the guy not to call him brother in front of everyone until he gets his level up. That would make him lose face. Xiaofu replied not to say that. I mean, he admires him. Zhen Qingchong asked, and what is it that he admires? Xiaofu replied that he has such an awesome little brother. His older brother sent him to hell. Xiaofu ran through the city shouting that they were now brothers. How can the elder brother not make a gift for the younger one on such an occasion? Qingchun told this guy to just buy some medicinal drugs, and he's teaching him how to create a great potion from them that will help him progress faster in martial arts. After all, only by becoming strong would he be able to help his senior find something that would speed up his recovery. He came again to the shop where he bought herbs. The salesman congratulated Mr. Xiaofu for being number 1 among the masters of the younger generation. He's got a good eye. This old man recognized him and realized how good he was, but he was in a bit of a hurry, because the competition between the fighters of the younger generation had not yet begun. For now, he needs to lay low. But the old man replied that he might not know, but he was only repeating the words of En Lon of the En family, who said that the guy is undoubtedly at the top. The whole town knows about it. The guy asked if he could repeat more precisely what Enlon said. Master Xiao Fu is a young hero of the city who rescued the beautiful Ye Ziking in the Monster Mountains. The young lady fell in love at first sight and brought her family a magnificent sword as a wedding gift. Master Xiao Fu then kicked En Hu aside for Lady Ye, and her family started a war with En. The master of the En family was frightened by Du Xiaofu and didn't dare to resist, so he left his estate, never to return there again. Master Xiaofu and young Lady Ye are perfect for each other, and their wedding is just around the corner. The old man asked to be invited to the wedding so he could get drunk. The guy wondered where such a vivid and far-fetched rumor came from. There must be some kind of trap here since Enlon is spreading such rumors. He should hurry back after he finished shopping. He suggested we talk business. He needs a portion of each of these ingredients. After Master Xiaofu purchased from him, they made a big profit and upgraded the assortment, so he has everything a guy needs. The old man asked if he would pay with a money card again. The guy replied that he did. The total came out to 10,000 coins. Looks like he doesn't have that amount on his card. Xiaofu was surprised at such a huge price. Last time it was 4,000. He called him a shameless peddler. The old man tried to reassure him that the ingredients he was buying this time were of higher quality and rarer, so the price was higher. But who cares, because weed is weed, and he dares to deny that he is an unscrupulous peddler. A man came in and said that the legendary Du Xiaofu was just a simple poor man. Everything in this store he, Bai Tianming, buys. Xiaofu asked the old man if these rich men were strong. This Master Bai Tianming of the Bai family, and young lady Qing Xiaolu of the Qing family. The old man had heard that they had both reached the level of the universe realm. It was a little taller than Enhu. Xiaofu asked them if they were really looking for him. The old man became nervous and said that if he was going to fight, let him do it outside his store. Brother Enlon said that he was the best in the young generation of the 5 great families. How strong is he, who for 10 years everyone thought was just an ordinary jerk? Xing Xiaolu replied that Ye Ziying herself worships him, but there is nothing special about him. He is just some kind of beggar. Tianming replied that Ye Ziking is not her rival. He also thinks that Enlon is talking nonsense. Xiaolu replied that he should not insult Enlon's brother. Tianming said he was wrong. Enlon said it right. Everyone says that Xiaofu is on top of the younger generation. But today Tianming will show them how superficial Ye Ziking's judgment is. If he won, it would make it seem like Enlon wasn't so right, and maybe Zhao Lu will pay more attention to him in the future. If he wants to fight with Du Xiaofu, there's no need to involve Enlon. And if he loses, he shouldn't be seen by her again. He'll beat the guy so bad, he'll beg for forgiveness. But that sissy bitch ain't gonna make it. The people walked with calmness, not even realizing what was about to happen. These guys broke the old man's bench after all. Tianming was throwing punches at him, but Xiaofu was keeping up with him as well. Xiaofu's speed is almost as fast as Enlon's. Xiaofu dodges a punch combination and counterattacked him. Xiaofu advised him to dump this wench, for she was using him. But Tianming knows that. He doesn't mind being used. Tianming wanted to hit him from behind, but he didn't succeed, and Xiaofu dodged it. He was telling him to give up already. This guy is really strong, and he's really comparable to Enlon. Tianming's body is too weak. Even though it's at the level of the universe, it's like a bubble ready to burst at any touch. People had already gathered for their fight, as it was about to be a great spectacle. Bai Tianming and Qing Xiaolu are going to fight Du Xiaofu. It is said that a few days ago, Enhu was terribly beaten up by Du Xiaofu. It must be that the En family is actually not as strong as Du. Enlong even said that Du Xiaofu is the strongest in the younger generation of the 5 great families. The unknown cloaked men came to see that very Du Xiaofu. Tianming recognized that this guy was strong. He wouldn't even be surprised if Enlon faded beside him. And if he defeats Xiaofu, it would mean that he is superior to Enlon as well. If Xiaolu saw his bravery, maybe it would touch her. Judging from the strength, Tianming is no opponent for Xiaofu. When Du Xiaofu defeats him, she will have to make a move, getting rid of Enlon's brother's most dangerous opponent. Tianming shouted for the guy to get ready to take his punch. Tianming began to land blow after blow, but Xiaofu was behind him, for it was too damn slow for him. One punch is one punch too few. Tianming must be preparing to take as many as 13 punches. Now it was the guy's turn to throw his opponent a lot of punches. 13 consecutive blows. The stranger wondered how powerful the Du family's wave strike was. Bai Tianming was defeated so easily by Du Xiaofu. It is said that he has reached the level of the universe realm. It seems that among the younger generation, he is one of the best. This Du Xiaofu is too strong. He suffered such a miserable defeat for Xiaolu's sake. He doesn't even know if she will come to take care of him, but he saw something. He yelled for Xiaolu to be more careful. The girl attacked the protagonist from behind. That loser Bai Tianming ruined her wonderful plan. Xiaolu shouted for Xiaofu to show how strong the person Ye Ziking had praised so much was. Her punch almost got him. Xiaofu didn't realize when she had managed to get so close. He managed to dodge her blow. The guy recoils, but she follows too quickly. They're both at the level of the universe realm, but this girl moves fast like a ghost. Ren Qingchong replied that she practiced techniques that used speed. Besides, she has an advantage due to her weapon. If he can't avoid a direct attack, he'd better think of a smarter way to break through. Or just break through with force. He tells his older brother to make things clearer. He has no weapons or armor, as he might break through at all. Looks like the girl is also still underestimating Du Xiaofu's speed. She used her Rain of Swords technique. With strength, he could break through. He used purification. After that, he activated the power wave. There was another explosion. Someone had told the young master that his cultivation level was very high. It's perfectly reasonable to use the opportunity to kill him. And another stranger asked who could win this fight. Whoever is stronger will win, and he asked not to be called young master in public. There was smoke everywhere, and the girl couldn't see where her opponent might be. But Xiaofu was already behind her and attacked. She managed to block his attack in time. His blow shattered her sword. He had a black spiritual sword. The young gentleman didn't expect it to end this way. Taking Mo Lin's sword and breaking an ordinary sword with it was what it meant to break through with superior strength. He tucked the sword back. Xiaofu hit her and said she lost. This trickster was carrying Mo Lin's sword hidden in his bags. Tianming got worried and asked if the girl was okay. He wanted to help her, but she batted his hand away. Xiaolu shouted for him not to touch her. Xiaofu asked the elders to be witnesses. They tried to attack him and also hit him in the back. He defended himself, so the blame for what happened is entirely theirs. The other people believed him and said he was right. The Du family should take revenge for this kind of behavior. This is a matter for the younger generation. They can settle it themselves without their families getting involved. He wants to see if Uncle will find a reason to punish him this time. People like En Hu, when they lose, run to the head of the family and ask for help. He asked Tianming and Xiaolu if such behavior was despised. Tianming replied that they were done, and he would not involve the head of the family in this matter. Xiaolu agreed to let it end there. Since he turned out to be more intelligent than her, she had nothing to say. The guy asked how it could end so easily. They're the ones who made all the fuss. He touched the girl's waist. Xiaolu asked what he wanted to do. Tianming shouted for the guy to leave her alone. If he had a claim, then let him bring it to him. Xiaofu smacked him on the head and told him that his turn would come soon too. Xiaolu said that she would not give in to him. A tear even appeared in the girl's eyes. And she said that she liked En Hu's brother. The guy was actually looking for a yellow purse. It's none of his business who she likes. If she gives him a bag of Changkun, they're even. Xiaofu walked up to the guy and reiterated the fact that he really didn't stand a chance. He needs to dump this girl. The more he chases her, the more she pushes him away. Tianming replied that it was none of his business and handed over the bag. He doesn't want Xiaofu fumbling around in his pants. They're definitely done now. Tianming asked why he was taking their bags. There is no master in Stone City who can crack them. But it wasn't necessary. Xiaofu took his spiritual money card. If they provoked him again, the guy wouldn't let them off that easily. The girls were screaming that he was handsome. This is a very different type of alpha male than Master N. This guy really lives up to his reputation. Now the Bai and Qing families have been defeated, but they're looking too superficially. When it came to strength, the guy was slightly superior to Tianming and about equal to Xiaolu in speed. But if they teamed up, he wouldn't stand a chance. He didn't see the start of the argument, but he assumes that these guys were the ones who provoked Xiaofu, and then he abruptly forced them into a fight with his harsh response. Du Xiaofu was originally at a disadvantage, but he purposely delayed the fight with Tianming, raising a fuss and attracting attention. This guy is quite cunning. The unexpected end of the battle gave Xiaolu a chance for a surprise attack. She's really fast. In a fair fight, she'd hit once and back off. This way, she's extremely hard to beat. It looked like Xiaolu had an advantage at first due to initiative, but she didn't realize that it was leading her into a trap. And then he released his spiritual energy and took out a sword from his bag. And then he addressed the gathered people to avoid future accusations. Is young master trying to say that Xiaofu planned everything from the beginning? The guy confirmed it. If they had such a great sword, there is no need to cherish it until the end of the battle. It's said that Mo Lin's sword was given by the Ye family as an engagement gift. Otherwise, they would have kept it for themselves. But Xiaofu sees it as a normal weapon and doesn't hesitate to use it. A very interesting opponent. He played the fool for 10 years. They had no information about him, and he went into action, not caring that he might make enemies. This man is definitely up to something. He also has a knack for opening other people's bags. He has a powerful spellcaster behind him. Spellcasters are honored guests, even in the palaces of rulers, so it is surprising that one of them turned up in this small town. The man asked if it was possible that he had the same motives as they did. The young master told the man not to say anything else. If he didn't have the same goals, he wouldn't have tried to get close to Ye Ziking. And he repeated again, so that those would not call him a young gentleman on the street. He's just a team leader. Those fools called him young master again when they agreed with him. Xiaolu came over and said that his eyes opened everything to her. She asked for advice on how she should deal with Du Xiaofu. The Ye and Bai families, who usually don't want to act together, can only turn to the Qing family. And at least this girl isn't stupid. The guy said the young lady was too kind. In fact, he has a lot to discuss with the Qing family. Someone said the guy is like a god. If their plan works, the women of the Bai and Ye families won't get away. Xiaofu gave the master the money for the ingredients, as well as the repairs. The old man replied that the young master need not worry. This old man had just made a bet, and not only returned the money, but also made some profit. He decided to give him the herbs as a gift. Someone was shouting that he had won. Bai Tianming looked good, but in reality he was useless. He got more for a couple bets than a guy who immediately fought and risked his life. It's all his business experience, but that's okay. The main thing is that Xiaofu got the ingredients for free, which isn't bad at all. He thanked the shopkeeper. Xiaofu also asked if by any chance the old man knew where the biggest gambling house was. The largest gambling house in Stone Town is the Baolai Center in the eastern part. The main character asked which family owns the center. There's a separate story about that. The Baolai Center belongs to none of the 5 great families, but to the Tianling demonic beast hunters. Tianling was much stronger than the white leopard hunters. They were also behind many dark deeds, but he didn't realize that they had already extended their tentacles into Stone City. The old man said that he was a small man and did not understand something. He asked if he could ask him a question. The guy asked what he wanted to ask. The old man asked why the protagonist didn't put the herbs and other ingredients in the Qiankun bag. In fact, the guy had simply forgotten about the possibility. This bag is capable of holding over 10,000 items. Jin Qingchun shouted that this was just embarrassing. The caster apprentice had forgotten about the spirit bag Qiankun. What does he look like now? A longshoreman or a construction worker? But not even the caster. There are many fighters who act as stupid as he does. The boy told him to stop. He had bought the herbs, and now the master must teach him how to purify them. He's also a robber. The bags belong to 2 universe realm level weaklings, and he even took them too. If this is found out, Big Brother will completely lose face because of his unethical behavior. The protagonist did not expect the herbs to be so expensive, and he needed money. The success of every spellcaster is built on a mountain of money spent. The guy had no choice but to rob someone, because money doesn't fall from the sky. But he'd better at least rob more delicately, not head-on without techniques or skills. Though, how a guy carrying such a powerful weapon patiently waited until the last minute to use it is worthy of respect. In fact, he had also forgotten about the sword. It was really dangerous. As of today, he officially starts teaching him how to purify medicinal ingredients. The most important thing in purifying medicinal ingredients is to divine the spell cauldron and control your power. However, knowledge of herbs and their effects is also very important. An herb of heavenly Kara that has powerful medicinal effects. Formerly used for the development of spiritual veins. Cleanses best on low heat, about 1/3 of the usual strength. Andrographis ordinary, tasteless and slightly poisonous. It can be used to disperse spiritual power, which will come in handy in future cultivation. This fruit does dissipate spiritual energy, but it also helps with cultivation. Of course, the kid doesn't realize it yet. For a caster, like a martial artist, it's all about the foundation. It determines how good you can become. The heirs of ancient clans with ancient bloodlines begin by suppressing their cultivation to strengthen the foundation and make it stronger and purer. When these guys come out, they become invincible on their level and can handle even those on the next realm level. Xiaofu said he wanted to do that too, but he would be as good as these heirs to powerful forces when he left Stone City. He asked if his brother was trying to get spiritual energy from him in a roundabout way. Since they had sworn to be brothers, he would teach him everything he knew. How much he can understand depends on his abilities. For the next few days, the guy focused on learning how to purify medicinal ingredients.
After many mistakes and wasting several thousand coins, he finally managed to refine a medicine that could help with cultivation.
What he didn't know was that he turned out to have a tremendous talent as a spellcaster. Jen Qingchong in her time spent 10 times more time and money before she achieved her first success. When the guy took the spiritual medicine, he started training using the Golden Phoenix technique, allowing him to absorb the medicinal effect faster. And then he went back to purifying the drugs. A new round. The Golden Phoenix training technique is very good. The medicinal effect is absorbed so quickly and completely. He is training in both martial arts and spells at the same time, and his progress is only accelerating instead of slowing down. If the master wasn't deliberately holding him back, he would have developed considerably by now. This asshole is disgustingly strong. In the inner garden of the manor, Bai Tianming asked his sister to help him take revenge on this Du Xiaofu. He doesn't show respect for their family at all, but he's not the one to talk about it. He's the one being used by Qing Xiaolu. Bai Kaiyi replied that this girl only cares about Enlon. She is not suitable for him. If he is capable enough, he should pay attention to Yi Ziking. If he gets her, their family won't have to remain passive anymore. Will they just let Du Xiaofu get away with what happened? People will think that the Bai family is afraid of Du, which will be bad for their reputation. The girl wonders when her brother will finally grow up. There are people who hope they will do that they will stick their necks out. He should stay at home for a while and refrain from getting into trouble. One battle doesn't matter. What matters is winning the war. The estate of the head of the town. Enlon and Bai Kaiyi are really good at hiding. Even now, they are not doing anything about it. I don't care if Cao China owns an entire county. He dares to ask for her hand in marriage. It was a good thing her father didn't agree, or it would have made things more complicated. Her father appeared from behind and asked how. He walked in again without even knocking. That's actually scary. So one of these four has a chance to go to Thunder Lake. Although Enlong and Bai Kaiyi are probably at the middle level of the universe realm, and are unlikely to have much of a chance of winning. The only one to worry about is Cao China, but they should also be wary of Du Xiaofu as well. Ziking asked if her father suspected the Du family of something. He suspects this Du Xiaofu. She just doesn't know what rumors there are about him. They don't say anything good. He has a sophisticated agenda, and he hides it well. It's possible that he saved her on purpose because he wanted to get closer to their family. He gave him Mo Lin's sword as a reward, and the guy started a rumor that it was an engagement gift. But it was actually Ziking who started the rumor. Lord asked what she had just said. She's the one who started the rumor that it was an engagement present. Her father was shocked by this. The girl screamed what happened to her daddy. She laid him on the bed and also gave him a bag of ice. You can't keep a grown-up girl at home. He asked why his daughter was helping a stranger to the detriment of her own father. But he was the one who wanted to make an alliance with the Du family. But he didn't ask her to enter into a political marriage with him. What will she do if he really is going to take over the city? The girl has known him since childhood, and he really has useless fighting veins. He only reached his current level through persistence and a couple of lucky encounters. Besides, the Ye family has always been on good terms with the Du family. This family has become more influential in recent years, and they are far away from them. Besides, this family still needs the support of the Ye family. They can't return their kindness with hostility. Cao China is also talented, and his country is powerful and could be a support for them. So why did she ask her father to give them an outright rejection? Ziking called him stupid. After she rejected him, he went to Bai Kai and was also rejected. Then he went to Qing Xiaolu and was able to get engaged to her. Cloud Country had always wanted to lay its hand on Stone City. Cao China arrived here secretly, and his intentions are clearly not honorable. He's a hypocrite who seeks power. And woe to the one who becomes his wife. Thunder Ancestor is weak right now. Ye, Bai, and Qing are watching the developments and preparing to attack. With both internal and external enemies, the Ye and Bai families must stick together. She really thought it over so well. And a political marriage in this case isn't so bad. Du Xiaofu will never betray her. The girl is becoming more and more like her mother, as beautiful and smart as she is. Mom would definitely be happy to see her now. Does that mean her dad was okay with it? Father replied that no. They would return to this conversation after he had defeated Cao of China and gotten to the Thunder Lake. In the manor, Qing Xiaolu cried out that if it wasn't for this Du Xiaofu, she wouldn't have been betrothed like this. She's so angry. Someone asked what she was doing out here all alone. As it turned out, this guy's name was Cao China. Xiao Lu asked what he was doing here. She's his fiancée, so it's only natural that he came to see her. But the guy should know full well that the girl simply had no choice. Cao China knows this, but he also knows that she is now his fiancée. Xiaolu got angry and asked if this guy thought he could control her just because they were engaged. He has no right to do that. Cao China threw her off. He has the highest level of the realm of the universe. But her average universe realm level isn't bad for a stone city either.
But compared to him, the young lord of the Cloud Country, she was far behind.
Her mouth was bleeding. Cao China is not Bai Tianming. It was her family who begged him for this engagement. Xiaolu should know his place. There are a lot of girls like that around him. He also knows that she is interested in Enlon. But she should think about her family's circumstances. If she's not a fool, she should know what to do. Xiaolu called him a devil who only pretended to be polite. It looked like the girl had finally figured it out. That was good. Sooner or later they will get married and become one family. He apologized for being a little rude to her.
Du Xiaofu injured her last time. Even before the 5 families meeting, he would deal with him for her.
The time was approaching for a great gathering of the 5 families and a contest between their representatives. The people of Stone Town were excited about the betting. A man asked who Brother Hao would bet on. But is it worth asking if it will be Du Xiaofu? He is the favorite and will be the champion this time. There will be too many people from different families there. Even the master has asked for his help too. Brother Hao could stab Enlon in the back during a general fight, but in the arena the 3 of them wouldn't even be able to overpower Enhu. Du Hao shouted for them to stop praising their enemies and undermining their morale. If they wanted to make money, they should bet that he, Du Hao, would win and enter the Thunder Lake. The guys asked if Brother Hao had lost his mind. They don't understand. Given his abilities, Du Xiaofu's support and alliance with the Ye family, he will definitely make it to the finals. Du Xiaofu is stupid. He had turned everyone against him, so he would have to fight off many opponents during the general battle and would be exhausted by it. And when the time came, it would be enough for Du Hao to turn against him and knock him out of the arena. The guys called him smart. As the saying goes, the wise monkey wins while the tigers fight each other. He told them to learn while he was alive. Looks like the younger generation of the Du family are all idiots. Du Hao asked who she called idiots. Xiaolu remembered his words that he would avenge her. The one in the center is the grandson of the Du family elder. Du Hao was at the beginning level of the universe realm. It seems like there are few talents in the Du family. The guy with Qing Xiaolu must be the one that is talked about so much. Her fiancé, who will be participating in the competition. He told those of yours to come back. Cao China asked if they really thought they could escape. They were already lying battered after a while. Du Hao thought that guy was at the highest level of the universe realm. Zhen Qingchong called the guy useless. A spellcaster who lacks money. That's because the cost of the ingredients to purify the medicine is getting more and more expensive. He can't get them if he doesn't get the money. He's here to place a bet. The old man asked if the young man was here to pawn something or make a bet. It was the same owner of the herb shop. The young man asked why he had changed to a loan shark, but the protagonist is not allowed to give himself away. He must be talking about his 6th uncle's son, his blacksmith. The old man asked again what the young man was here for. To begin with, Xiaofu would like to lay down these 3 bags of Qiankun. The old man looked at those bags the guy had given him. These 2 bags have the insignia of the Qing and Bai families. He'll give 10,000 coins for them, but for the last one, the symbol of the Stone Dragon Empire, and it's more complicated. Who would have thought there was a swordswoman from the royal family of the Stone Dragon Empire? The guy asked if that meant he couldn't take her. It wasn't that he didn't have a channel to sell the royal family's items. He could sell them to the Heavenly Pond Empire or other major heavenly sects, but it's a long trip, so it will be priced accordingly. He asked for a realistic price. That would be 10,000 coins. After that, the protagonist agreed. So now he's got 33,000. If he bets it all on himself, he can get a nice amount of money minus the bet. Specifically 66,000 coins. He was about to keep it for himself, but that's when he stopped him. He told the kid to count better. The favorites have low odds. If he wants to make good money, he should bet on the underdogs. He glanced at Bai Mei's sheet. The odds of getting into the top 4 were 1/160. The odds of getting into the top 10 were 1/30. She had the 8th layer of the celestial realm. He's gonna make 5.228 million. He's betting on Bai Mei making it to the top 4. Council room duh. Xiaofu came and saw that his uncle was there, as well as the elders. Renwu said that Cao China and Qing Xiaolu had severely beaten Du Hao, Du Yang, and Du Chong. Du Guangyao, an elder of the Du family, complimented that the boy would be the only member of the younger generation of the family to participate in the competition. The guy asked if the battered men were dangerously injured. The enemy had good control of their forces. The wounds are not dangerous, but they will be barely half recovered in 3 days, so they won't be able to fight. The number of participants from each family is limited to 15. In the Du family, only 4 of the youths had reached the universe realm. Now only he was left. They would not risking the weaker disciples. That punch was aimed at him. Xiao Fu asked where this Cao China came from. Could it be that he is from the Qing family? Cao China is the son of the ruler of the Cloud Country, Cao Tianmen. His training with Xiao Lu must be only the first step to power in Stone City. They will cut off the hands of anyone who dares to reach out to the Stone City. The elder gave the lad permission to use the elixirs and other resources of the family. Scrolls with techniques from the secret pavilion, including the energy recovery scriptures. In return, he only wants the protagonist to punish Cao China. The boy replied that he understood the elder. It was already night. Before, my father also fought for the honor of the family, and now it's finally his turn. He noticed something falling. Du Hao said to throw faster and faster before he noticed anything. He noticed the 3 of them, Du Hao, Du Yang, and Du Chong. The guy asked why they had sneaked in here, instead of treating their wounds. They brought it to him as compensation. Before, when he couldn't practice martial arts, spending elixirs on him was a waste of resources. That was the only reason why they would kidnap them and use them for their development. They weren't too talented and could only develop because of them. And they did it for the sake of their family as well. Now the guy has become the sole representative of the Du family in the 5 families competition. And this Cao China is at the highest level of the universe realm. They can't fight alongside Xiao Fu, but at least the guy can take these elixirs as compensation, and for the sake of victory. They told the protagonist to win the contest. Let him do it for Du's family. They all rely on him. Since they're all asking for it, it looks like he has no choice but to win. The human mind, the upper Dantian, Taiyi, the palace of the body, located in the most important place of the head, where thoughts are born. He has no need to worry about sealed spiritual veins. This seal is restricted by his own Wulin seal. What he needs to do now is to open the Naiwan Palace and become a 2-star level caster. Ren Qingchong told him to finally sense the divine form and open the Naiwan Palace. Even a person with excellent spiritual veins would usually take several years to reach the 2-star level. He didn't expect this asshole to achieve such a thing in less than 2 months. So this is the level of a 2-star master spellcaster. Quite a lot of power and different from martial arts. The starting level of a 2-star caster is equal to the starting level of a universe realm martial artist. Naivan Palace's rich spiritual power should sharpen his combat instincts, improving his reactions and increasing his accuracy. 3 days later, the En family has arrived. En Lon has reached the upper boundary of the middle level of the universe realm, and is only a step away from the Supreme. If the brothers think on the same wavelength, they can handle anything. En Hu offered to teach this Du Xiaofu a lesson. Others noticed that the En family was here, the head of the family, Qing Song, as well as brothers En Lon and En Hu, and it was rumored that the Du family would be represented by Du Xiaofu alone. The Qing family is also here. The head of the family, Qing Qingqiong, is walking in front. Qing Xiao Lu and Cao China are behind him. And on the other side, the Bai family. The head of the family, Bai Jirao, young master Bai Tianming, and young mistress Bai Kaiyi. King Song suggested that Renwu settle their past grievances at this competition. Renwu believes that Du Xiaofu will represent them honorably. En Hu had already been beaten up by a guy, and the next candidate for that was En Long. Xiao Fu needs to be careful with En Lon. He's not an idiot like his brother. He thanked his second uncle for his advice. Bai Jiru said that his daughter and son are here to be instructed by Xiao Fu. Renwu said that Bai Jiru is too kind. Xiao Fu has only recently started training, so they should be gentler with him. Xiao Fu had already beaten Bai Tianming, but with his sister, he needed to be extremely careful. She is much smarter than her brother. Qing Qingqiong said that Xiao Fu robbed his daughter in the middle of the street a few days ago and asked if brother Du had heard about it. Renwu replied that the guy fought alone against 2 people and achieved a glorious victory. Xiao Fu had already defeated Qing Xiaolu. He may lose the group fights, but Cao China must die. The guy said he would beat him so that his own father wouldn't even recognize him. The head of City E is also here. They welcomed the chapter. Ye Ziking said they haven't seen Xiao Fu in a long time. Xiao Fu replied that it didn't seem that long ago. Someone's been trying to give him a hard time lately, but today he's going to have an even harder time, and it's all her fault. The girl asked if he blamed her for it. Xiao Fu has no reason to blame her, and he doesn't believe it's because of Ziking that he's in trouble. She told him to just look around and then he would realize everything. But he must remember that Yi's family would be on his side if anything happened. Others asked who entitled him to the attentions of Mrs. Yi. So here's the thing, Ye Ziking is really popular. He decided to seize the moment, because he's not afraid of trouble. The others immediately took notice of him, and this kid knows how to seize the moment. He's really something. Xiaofu dares to flirt with her in front of everyone. But she's the one who started flirting first. She let him go. Ziking remembers it to him. After that, she hurriedly left. The heads of families were asked to sit down. In these 5 clan competitions, the loser is the one who left the arena. There are no other rules. They can band together and attack together. Only the strongest will survive to the end. The last 5 that remained in the ring would receive top-level universe realm techniques as well as an elixir that aids cultivation. But the winner will get to go to Thunder Lake for training. The competition is about to begin. Someone asked if the arena for the contest was an empty field outside of town. That seems a bit too simple. Head Yi asked the elder to make a move. The elder took off. He possesses levitation. This is the level of the Soul Vessel realm. It's Ye Quan from the Ye family. An expert from the Ye family they haven't seen in 20 years. But they said he was dead. Why is he here? He used his technique, which was quite impressive. The realm of the Soul Vessel is so powerful. It is the trump card of the Yi family. Looks like Thunder Lion is really going to die soon. There's a reason the Yi family is trying to scare them by releasing the ancestor. He lifted some of the ground into the sky. After that, Ye Quan used the cut. He began to build some place. He asked all the participants from different families to enter the arena. This is the strength of the ancestor of the Yi. The Du family has only gained strength in the last decade, and the difference in their foundations is simply enormous. The head of the city told the young people not to let the old people look down on them. Ziking decided to go first. She entered the arena, after which Ziking expressed her respect to the ancestor. Other girls from different families followed her, and behind them, their relatives. Their level had reached at least the 7th stage of the universe realm, since they could jump such a distance. Cao China asked, wondering if the elder was grading skills. He too decided to enter the arena. This Cao China can also levitate like an elder. Could it be that he too had reached the realm of the Soul Vessel? Cao China from Cloud Country pays his respects to ancestor Ye Kuang. His skills are quite good. He is truly worthy of being the heir to the Cloud Country. It was just some technique, and he's purposely causing everyone to be confused. There are 14 participants from the Bai family and 10 participants from the Yi family. The Qing family has 15 participants, and the En family has 9. The elder asked if there were any other members of the younger generation who wanted to participate in the competition. It was finally Xiaofu's turn as the sole representative of the Du family. All their youngsters like Du Yu and Du Shui look up to him. As big brothers, they should set an example for them. The twins cheered him on. The girls were already celebrating Mr. Cao's victory in the 5 clans competition beforehand. Some shouted that she loved him. Some shouted that she wanted children from him. And this Cao China likes to attract attention. He really knows how to prove himself. Except Xiaofu has never learned any movement techniques and doesn't know how to surpass him. All he has to do is rely on his strength. Enlon realized that this guy had an average level of the universe realm. It was a shame that he was already 1 step away from the highest. He does have some powers. Has this guy been practicing in seclusion for the last 10 years for this day? But this is not the average level of the realm of the universe. His spiritual energy is far beyond that level. Ye Quan senses in his spiritual energy and the ferocity of a wild beast. Ye Ziqing believes in him. Du Xiaofu asked which one of them was Bai Mei. The girl raised her trembling hand. She is Bai Mei. Xiaofu will protect her. Others shouted how dare he flirt with a girl from their family. The guy's looking for death. And Hu offered to teach Du Xiaofu a lesson together. Bai Tianming supported this idea. He wanted to beat him to death. Yinlong suggested to deal with Du Xiaofu first, and then they would already fight amongst themselves so that the others wouldn't get an advantage. Bai Kaiyi agreed. What shamelessness. They're publicly conspiring to attack together. Now Bai and An will hunt him down. Ziking wondered what the big deal was with this Bai Mei. She looks like a dumbass hottie. Xiaofu decided to show them one of her tricks. He jumped away from the city wall. Elder recognized that it was pretty good. He took off after him. Ye Quan said that this little guy is jumping high, but taking off is easier than landing. He has to be careful not to crash. Xiaofu pays his respects to his ancestor Ye Kuang. Ziking wondered why the guy jumped so high. She told everyone to get up on the poles quickly. Some looked on in horror at what he was about to do. Xiaofu jumped down and destroyed the arena and asked where they were going. They were the ones who wanted to attack him, after all. The arena began to collapse and the others screamed for help. Xiaofu caught Bai Mei's hand. I thought he said he was going to protect her. With this move of his, he took down half of the opponents. Others didn't understand what was going on. Some said it was Du Xiaofu of the Du family. He was able to descend from such a height. Wasn't this boy even afraid he might crash to his death? The entire arena was destroyed. The kid's strong. He's got his own style, and he's got a lot of nerve. He placed Bai Mei on the pole. Bai Mei wondered what this guy meant when he said what he would protect her. What a shame more than a dozen more were on their feet. But less than half of the contestants remained in the arena. And this Du Xiaofu has destructive abilities. Ziking was angry after all. This guy had involved people from her family as well. Du Xiaofu is really strong. Bai Taiyi told her men not to dare to hesitate. They must take action. He dared to flirt with a member of the Bai family. He will be punished for it. Xiaolu will send the guy to hell for what he did to her. But Qing Xiaolu's opponent will be Ye Ziking. Xiaolu also wants to find out just how strong she is. The other contestants had already almost caught up with Xiaofu and Bai Mei. The guy was surrounded. They'll finish him off for flirting with a girl from the Bai family. Xiaofu disappeared from where he was standing in an instant. He was already beside his opponent with words to the effect that he didn't do it. He wasn't flirting with anyone. One contestant had already been defeated. The others decided to attack him together. Xiaofu shouted for these guys to talk less and move faster if they wanted to attack him. And Hu told them not to be afraid of him. Bai Tianming warned as he attacked Xiaofu. But before that, he was attacked by another student. But he handled them with ease. After which, he was immediately attacked by Chen Ming and Hu. But Du Xiaofu stopped their blows. Tianming wondered when he had time to become so scary. And Hu realized that he was stronger than last time. He wondered if Xiaofu was still at the middle level of the universe realm. Xiaofu asked if they were already done. Then they should look at something else. He grabbed them by their clothes as they wondered what he was going to do. He began to unwind them, and Bai Tianming shouted for him to let him go. Some hurricane appeared. If they are so insistent, he might as well let them go. He tossed them aside. They crashed into a pole. If those two knew how strong he had become, they wouldn't have messed with him. Du Xiaofu of the Du family is too strong. Enhu and Bai Tianming are among the strongest in the younger generation. Who could have known that they would be defeated so quickly? The second uncle shouted that this guy was doing just fine. The twins were supportive that their brother was so strong. He doesn't use any techniques, and his movements are simple, but still powerful and effective. It's like a beast in human form. He is capable of destroying everything in one move. Nothing can stop him. Kaya was told to use the Lingbo sword formula. The Bai family's Lingbo sword formula is an advanced level technique. Has Bai Kai mastered it? She's at an advanced level of the universe realm. For her age, she is as talented as Enlon. Bai Kai used the Lingbo sword formula. If the attack reached Du Xiaofu, all of his energy points would be sealed. When that happens, no matter how strong he is, it will all be useless. The Linbo sword formula is hard to deal with. Xiaofu has to be careful here. He dodged this devastating attack. It's the energy punch that's haunting him. No matter how much he dodged, that punch kept coming for him. Bai Mai noticed that Du Xiaofu is so strong, but he's still not an opponent for Kaya. It's useless. She controls the movement of the energy wave. There's no escaping it. But it's probably not easy for her to maintain that kind of control either. She decided to see if he could take it. She sent another powerful punch, and he responded with a wave impact. The impact of 13 waves. 2 powerful attacks collided. It was a wave kick, but it only has a maximum of 9 layers of waves. So how on earth did this guy manage to put 13 into the kick? Did they use the technique incorrectly? Xiaofu really did manage to improve the wave strike that much. Bai Kai admitted that she was no opponent for Xiaofu, but it's still very strong. If they had fought a month ago, he definitely wouldn't have been able to handle this strange sword technique. Enlon wants to show him the result of his secluded training. Bai Kai noticed this sneak attack. Bai Mi shouted that he was being attacked from behind. Enlon used waves of spiritual energy. He was at the top of the advanced level of the universe realm. Very close to the highest. Enlon's actual level of development is indeed slightly higher than Kaya's. His technique began to consume the protagonist, but he got out of it with ease. This time, Enlon decided to summon the wind-piercing spear. He decided to attack Xiaofu directly in the forehead.